This episode of Scab Talk is brought to you by Lethal Gaming Gear. And welcome back to Scab Talk, everyone. Today's episode, we're continuing our discussion of patch 16 and the white progression. There's been some rumblings in the community about hideout, progression, etc. Now that the Flea has been locked for a total of 2 weeks. Thus far, we're only about a weekend, a little over a weekend. I guess technically, what, 20...
I think 8 days or something. Yeah, because it was like wipe Thursday and now it's Friday next week.
Yeah. And otherwise, I think, mostly that's probably going to be the bulk of it just because there's a lot of stuff, I'm sure, I know there's a lot of stuff on my mind. I was having a little bit of a manic episode the other night while in the shower thinking about Tarkov stuff. I was thinking, Giga, can we just do the podcast earlier? No. Let me wait.
Too much stuff.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's okay. So where are you? Just to frame it, where are you in progression? What have you got up to?
I think I actually just hit level 17. So basically all level 2 traders. And
nice.
We did, right now, I'm on bunkhouse quests. We gotta go in the bunkhouse and get the thing. So yeah, we've done some quests, planning to do other type, and yeah, it's definitely gotten better. I think I told you last week, possibly, but we were having a real hard time, because we were both pretty rusty, and I had a bit of epiphany. I was like, oh my god, we just need to use the strat with Discord screen sharing. We did that like once or twice, but because customs is kind of iffy on performance, streaming doesn't help that.
Oh, I see.
You're both streaming and you're both watching a stream on your second monitor, so it's like it adds more to the GPU and CPU. Like it just adds like everything, right? And so we've kind of gotten away from that, but we've gotten so much better at, working and coordinating, and no one's killed each other. So it's been very good, very good. We've made some critical mistakes and we've learned from that, and it's a much more PMA, positive mental attitude Tarkov. So I'm very pleased about that.
That's good. So you're playing as a duo then. Your trio person was done, right? And didn't
he was
come
done.
Back.
He was already kind of just like, Tarkov,
Yeah.
He's playing Void Crew with some other friends right now.
Okay.
Some friends, and because they don't really mess with Tarkov. They don't like extraction shooters. But yeah. So that's cool.
Cool. So I've been grinding, as you might imagine, right? Because I've like front loaded, and this is what I usually like to do. I front load my 12-hour drop streams as early as I possibly can, because there doesn't seem much point in waiting, and also it means that I'm like accelerate fast quickly, and then I can kind of slow down a bit and like spend more time on the content. So just utilize those streams, because I'm going to do them at some point, do them as soon as I can, so I can get through stuff to like tell people. So I'm level 27, so I'm like really powering up.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you play a full day in a 48-hour period. So so I'm basically like I actually have been a bit slow with peacekeepers this wipe for whatever reason. I just kind of just the way the map's ordered and the things that I wanted to do and stuff. So I'm like just getting onto Shoreline properly now. Like I did his SV98 and a few other ones like maybe 2 or 3 days ago, but then I kind of stopped. So I don't know, it worked out actually in the end, because I've just got him to level 3, but then it's at the same time as I've just ended up with Punisher Part 1 as well. And so that's kind of okay. So now I'm on the Shoreline pathway bit pretty much. Did like first couple of raids with the AK series for Punisher Part 1 yesterday, and trying to find the Eagle Eye, the what are they called, like the hard boxes in the crashed UAVs for Peacekeeper. So those two things are kind of going hand in hand. But the rest of it's going all right. I've actually gone through the whole of the chemical line already, which is not something I normally push through super, super fast. But I did it this wipe just because, I don't know. I know I've like self-flagellated myself on customs so much, but I just have. It just ended up working out that way. So yeah, no, it's going good. It's going good, I would say. I think like I did okay at the beginning, like a bit better than normal, and then went through like a tough period, and then have come back to doing okay. So now I'm back at like 61% survival rate, which I'm pleased with on PMC. That's good. It feels like, at some sessions, it feels like, a couple of hours of like 20% survival rate, and then like maybe a couple of hours of like just not seeing anybody. So you end up just surviving back to back to back to back with the same kit over and over because you just don't see anyone. So yeah, it's been very mixed. It's been very mixed, but yeah, so far I'm pretty pleased. Shall we go through, before we jump into like too much wipe stuff, let's go through like the various sort of just like some announcements and some news and the updates, whatever, and then we can go through like all the rest of it. So the first part that I wanted to mention was just about drops. So I did my drops already, but the drops are going until the 7th. So I think, yeah, there'll probably still be 1 or 2 left when this comes out properly. And the crazy thing about drops this time is that they originally, and unfortunately when I was doing mine as well, they weren't finding raid, but then BSG updated it partway through and said, oh yes, drops are now going to be finding raid. I think they made a post and it says something along the lines of, we're delighted with the activity of streamers completing tasks and the engagement of viewers. We'd like to thank everyone who supports us. All the drops will be found in raid, because I think a lot of the stuff was just not really very useful, especially with the found in raid hideout requirement.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they changed it partly because of that, because otherwise most of the stuff you just had to sell it to the trader. Like there's no Flea either, so you just have to sell it to the trader. It's like, why get the drops so you can get like a non-finding raid bolt that you got not even able to sell for 2 weeks, and maybe not even that. We don't know what they're going to do to the Flea yet. It's a bit confusing. So anyway, since that, the drops have actually become much more valuable. You can use them for handing in for quests, and there's a lot of them. Then you can get up to 6 drops, 2 common, 2 rare, 2 legendary, every 12 hours. So it's a lot. It's a lot of drops. Like I've been farming them on my streaming PC, just like watching various people in the background and just slowly counting them up. But you're getting tons of stuff, like lots of food, bits of equipment, headsets, especially some rare items, especially out of like the legendary crates. You can get streamer items, rare stuff like vases, lions. I think I used one of them to get a docs case, which is quite nice. So there's like loads of things coming out of these things. And so if you can just have it on, you can just like, to be honest, you just even like mute the tab. You don't even need to have it up. You just like put it to like 240p broadcast stream quality or whatever. Mute the tab itself, not mute the thing, and then you can just farm them without actually even being there. Just may as well. Makes it a little bit easier. So yeah, that's carrying on until the 7th. I think the last slot finishes like midday my time, so like early morning East Coast time, for the drops. And then we've had a couple of technical updates. There was the first one the other day, which was like the big one, where they changed a few things. I will say, actually, credit where credit's due. BSG have been doing a good job of updating the game and stuff. I don't know whether this is just because it's all hands on deck, or whether it's because Unity 2022. Some people are like, oh, it's Unity 2022. They can update stuff really fast. I'm like, I don't know whether that's really anything to do with it. I'm not sure. But they've been doing lots of updates, so I'm quite pleased. Which, well, it's also kind of necessary because it's quite a buggy wipe. So those two things, have gone hand in hand in a good way. So yeah, fixed the issue where players have been teleporting in place. So there was that one bug. I haven't had it happen to me. I've had lots of rubber banding, but not where I've been stuck. And I Pestely's had that where he's just been literally stuck on one spot. I think it was like a disconnect issue. If you like closed the game and reopened it, then it worked again. But it was you were disconnected, but the game didn't actually disconnect you for some reason. Normally it goes to black and you get that, and then it forces you to reload in. I think it was that, but it wasn't actually happening. Fixed all known issues where players transiting between locations could enter a raid with players outside of their group. I haven't heard anybody telling me that it's happened again since. People in chat being like, I said, look, I don't want to do the transits because it's just so annoying loading in with other people. And people in chat were just like, oh, but BSG said it's fixed. I'm just like, I'll say it's fixed when it doesn't happen for 6 months. We're not looking at what BSG says about this because, they, within the best of their ability, have fixed these things. But sometimes stuff just continues, right? They said it was fixed previously, I think, and then it carried on, or something else was fit, like the arena, moving back and forth between arena and escape for Tarkov was fixed, and then it wasn't, and people were still losing grab and stuff. So like they don't always know. They tried, but they don't always know. So you can only, the proof is in the pudding. This next one actually was like, originally it drove me a bit insane, and then I felt actually okay, maybe not, and then I ended up going insane anyway. So fixed an issue where kills from the Achilles Defense Velociraptor 300 Blackout did not count towards the progress of Punisher Part 2, which is the one where you need to get scav kills with a suppressed weapon. Now, this is like one of the classic like BSG coding things where it's just like, just flag it as a suppressor and put that in the quest so you don't have to do it manually every single time. But this one, I was like, actually fair enough, because like the suppressor is part of the gun. Like the gun itself is suppressed. It's like it's not even like the VSS, because like I think on that you can take it off, but like it's literally like part of the weapon. Like you can't. It's not even separated. It's not like it's dysfunctional. You just can't remove it. Right? It's the way the gun is made. So I was like, okay, fair enough. There's nothing necessarily to flag as a suppressor there, so I get it. And then literally like 15 minutes later, someone came in chat and was just like, by the way, the new MPX suppressors don't work for Punisher Part 2 either. And I was like,
oh no.
I was like, maybe they've changed it so that oh no, it's just like, okay. I like gave them credit, and then 15 minutes later, it's just like, nope, still the same. I was like, God's sake, why? Every single time. Just make a checklist, just make a checklist. Like, oh, it's like when I kept like messing up when I moved over to the streaming PC, I kept up like messing up my my broadcasting stuff and not recording it properly and things. And I was like, I'm just going to make a checklist before I go live. It's like, just make a checklist. Are all the suppressors on the Punisher Part 2 list? Yes? No? Please, for the love of God. Anyway, like if you're not going to fix it programmatically, at least have a checklist. This next one has sparked off some new conversations again, because people forgot about this and now they're angry again. A couple of people. I would say it's a bubbling of murmur, not like anger. Reduce the sales limit for 7.62 by 51 BCP FMJ rounds to 100. 120 for owners of the Unheard edition.
Why? Why though?
Like, yeah, why?
Why though? I mean, I guess I know why, but it's such like a petty why. Because money, but like it's 20 damn bullets. Like, come on.
I know, and it's just like poking everybody in the eye.
Yeah, it's like
for no reason.
Like, okay, if it was like, I would honestly feel like it would be okay. Like, I would be more okay if it was like, 200 or something. Because it's like, I can kind of understand. But like 20 is so little. It's like, God, you were...
Well, reduce the sales limit to 100 normally and 101 for people who have Unheard.
It's like, why? It's like, what? It's like, I don't know.
But you know what the worst thing about this is that if they didn't say it, if they just said reduce to 100, probably nobody would have noticed.
Yeah, that's true too. It's like, shouldn't even say anything. Like, I mean, yeah.
I know I'm not advocating for like lack of transparency, but and then they said 120 photos of the Unheard edition, right? But it's like, but this is like annoyed. This has just annoyed everyone, right? But it's like factually incorrect because it's Unheard and EOD. EOD and Unheard both share decreased limits. Like the limit increase is for both editions. They didn't write it there, but I have 120 BCP FMJs and I have EOD. Mm-hmm. So it's EOD too. They should have just said it as well, EOD. Because everybody, it looks like it's just Unheard.
But I just don't understand why even do this. Like, it's so...
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's stupid.
Like, do other...
I don't get it either, but...
Was it... Well, okay, to be fair, maybe... Is this like a core feature of Unheard? Is that you get more trader ammo supply per reset?
It's something they said originally, and it's one of the things that they didn't roll back because it was like 0.8 on the list of like top 10,
right.
Or like of the 10 egregious things. It's like 8B or something. Like no one really cares about 20 rounds of BCP FMJ, so it was one of the things that didn't get rolled back. It's just annoying.
I mean, yeah, it's just what I love doing now is when I lose someone, I see they got the pockets, and I'm like, filth. My Hawk tool on.
Yeah, I feel I'm trying not to be so like anti because I just kind of got to get over it, But it's just like it just keeps coming. It's like a an old wound that like that won't quite heal and like itches sometimes. You know what I mean?
I mean, for sure, it's
just annoying.
It's your money. Do what you will. You know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah,
just for me, it's a little of a fun. I mean, I don't mean it that seriously, but at the same time,
of course,
I don't know. I don't know if I want to like fully, endorse, their original motivations. I don't know. Before, like the original stuff was kind of, I think they got a lot of flack, and a lot of it was well deserved, personally. But
yeah. It's just so awkward now because we've had quite a lot of conversations in chat about people being like, if you're joining the game or you have standard, right? Like, and you're going to play a lot, like if you're going to play 1,000 hours or something, like, it's like somebody the other day was just like, oh, it's so worth it though. And I'm like, is it? And then I was like, yeah, it actually is. Oh, one thing that I was corrected about, by the way, is that you do get arena with Unheard, apparently.
Okay.
I was wrong on this. It doesn't mention it anywhere, I don't believe, but I think you get it with it. Which I was like, okay, now you don't. That means you don't have to then choose, because I was a bit like, because we had a long conversation on stream about that. And people being like, man, it sucks like having alpha container, but like, we looked at it, right. If you get the one below Unheard, which is now the one that used to be EOD, I don't prepare for escape or whatever one it's called. I don't remember. Like, it's expensive and not that great, and you don't get arena.
Can you?
So it's like the whole thing kind of sucks. And so I do empathize with people. Like, it's easy to stand on the EOD platform and just be like, the Unheard edition. But like, it's a really tough decision for new players if they're like actually invested in the game, because you can't get EOD, and so they're like stuck. EOD, it's like you either pay like all the money, or you just buy arena or something. Like, it's just it's a really awkward decision. So I do feel for people, actually. I do. It's a lot more tricky than it used to be.
So if you buy standard, and then you decide, okay, I want to buy it Unheard, do you get like a discount for buying standard? That thing?
You get you get the Unheard it's the same as usual, so it's the upgrade price.
Okay, so you would like pay an upgrade.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so
instead of it being
I think standard right now is like 50 base.
Right.
And then I can't remember what the other versions are. EOD's value is 150.
Oh, it's 150. Okay.
And then Unheard is 250. That's like the internal trader value. We think about it in Tarkov terms. It's the internal trader value of these things. Obviously, then you've got taxes and all sorts of other stuff on top. If you actually go try to buy the game,
such a lot for like.
It's such a lot.
Straight out purchase.
So go standard to Unheard. It's 200 base without any taxes or anything. But then I think you get arena in with that as well, I believe. So people have told me. Like, there's quite a few people who are just like, I bought Unheard and then I got arena with it. I think it's because originally it wasn't supposed to have it, but then because of the outcry and all the rollbacks and stuff and changes that they made, like, EOD ended up with PVE and Unheard ended up with arena, and like everyone just kind of ended up with all the things if you upgraded, I believe. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that, because like I had actually been telling people the wrong thing, because I didn't think because it doesn't actually say. So I thought Unheard didn't come with arena, but apparently it does. Yeah. So anyway, that little side tangent off about that. A couple of other random bits. Yeah, bipods. They've moved to, I think, lower level traders. I think they're on Skier 2 and Mechanic 2 now, I believe. There's some like random MVG 57E on Prapor 1. I actually didn't realize. I didn't even look at that, to be fair. I wonder what that is. Is that the one that attaches?
I think I've seen these. Yes. They go to the tank helmet.
Yeah, it's 2 Apollo 6, and they go on the tank helmet. Apparently, they're actually okay.
That's what I've heard.
But you have to wear the tank helmet, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the downside to them. And a few other bits. I love these ones. Adjusted spawn rates for barter items in the pockets on scavs and player scavs.
Oh.
Same thing with conditions for armor and armored rigs, ammunition and backpacks. Which way is it adjusted? We will never know. I don't know. I do feel like they have a higher variety of like various things. So
yeah, I felt like I looted some scavs and their backpack has like, they're like half full of like just random crap. Like there was one that was like a mag, and then it was like a 5.45 mag, 5.45 by 39, and then there was also like loose ammo for that mag, but the mag was full. Like, it was just like really random stuff, like such a random assortment.
Yeah, it is random. So then they did another one, a technical update the other day. This one was pretty small. This one's just issues fixing. Fixed an issue that caused players to freeze when interacting with the BTR. Fixed all known issues that led to incorrect playback or complete absence of environmental sound. So some people were basically that the audio engine was just crashing, basically, and like not making any sound, and people would either have to disconnect or exfil. Like, there was just no audio.
Oh, wow.
It was completely disappearing. I've not had that one. But yeah, some people have had that, so apparently that's fixed. The BTR thing is hilarious. So some people, I've seen quite a few videos of it. People were interacting with the BTR to get in, and then it would bug out. The animation wouldn't play. You wouldn't get into the BTR, and then the BTR would just drive off. And you'd be like pinned to the outside like some kind of voodoo doll, and scavs would literally be shooting you. You're like just pinned to the outside, just like getting dragged around streets, getting shot. Like, it was crazy. There's like one video, someone's like getting shot at, they're like, and they're like put an ETG and just like try desperately heal up while there's all these shots coming in.
The driver's like, pay up. I don't got enough rubles. All right, hang on tight. Just like drive this.
String him on the outside, boys. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Airwing posted on it like, but I liked riding on the outside of the BTR like some kind of improvised protective armor, and I was like, oh man, it's like forever winter. If you've like seen any of that stuff,
Yeah.
it's like you're the human like stuff like surrounding the tanks and whatever. It's like forever winter with Tarkov crossover. The crossover we never knew we needed. So yeah, a little one there. So, but I mean, they're updating stuff quite quickly. There was another one as well, but this one is more to do with Arena. So people like some of the stuff in Arena. Maybe we'll take like a little minute just to talk about Arena. But like, yeah, they fixed the issue where items in the armory remained locked after all the conditions were met, which is quite annoying. Some people tried to unlock stuff and then they couldn't. And then did I miss anything on the other one?
I don't think so.
The other technical updates. I always forget that there could be like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. There's multiple tweets. I think there was on this one. That's what reminded me. So yeah, stuff was locked and you couldn't unlock it. So that's fixed. Changes for last hero and checkpoint, increase the amount of XP gained for kills and headshots. Teamfight blast gang, the amount of XP gained for kills has been increased. Number of rewards after a match has been increased. Increase the number of rewards for completing daily and weekly tasks, which is interesting. So, they nerfed Arena. I think a lot. I want to say a lot, but actually I'm not sure actually how much a lot it was, because I thought it was mainly on dailies and weeklies, because the amount of XP you actually got for completing a match seemed about the same. But then after leveling up a bit and starting to play more Arena again, like the weekly XP and the daily XP tasks is going up a lot. Like the XP is in the sort of 10k region now, I think, something like that, which is like, it's quite high. I guess the only thing I'd say about that in general is that now that there are 4 game modes, and I think they made it more expensive to re-roll as well. So like now it's harder to get like all last hero, and the tasks are more difficult. So it sort of balances out. I think it's okay. I think it actually is a bit of a nerf. It's harder to extract like just tons of XP out of that, but through dailies at least. Like you do get, if you play the game, you get XP and money, but that's fine because you're spending time doing that rather than a scav run or whatever. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting that they decided to rebuff it a bit more in some ways. But it's for performing. So again, I kind of don't mind, right? If you just do average, then it won't really change it. It's like if you get lots of kills, lots of headshots, then you get more XP. So I kind of get it. Yeah, Arena's a bit strange. So they changed some of the unlocks as well in there, and some of them are really weird. Like which guns? There were some guns that are just crazy. One, I think was it the VSS or the VSK or something? I can't remember. There's like one of those ones which it wasn't even the best one. It was like one of the middle ones.
Okay.
And you needed like 2 Lega medals to unlock it in Arena.
Is that like
and I think maybe
deal?
the AS Val as well. Yeah, so like the Lega medals you can own. I think you can get them from dailies very, very rarely, but you really only get them from weeklies, and it's like 2 at most. So you can get like probably 2 Lega medals a week, like as an absolute maximum.
Can you buy them with GP coins? Like convert? I can't remember. Okay.
No, Legas are really restricted. So you kind of have to decide, like, do I want to unlock this gun for 2 weeks worth of Lega medals, or turn them into keys in the real game, or buy something else with them? Like you can, if you, like, I think like 10 is a thick case in the base game and stuff, but it takes forever to get. Lega medals are really, really hard to get. So I sort of get it for some of the guns, but yeah, SR3M, as someone's point, as Scusty says in chat, SR3M is still just like GP coins or money, which is honestly better than the ASFAL, but the ASFAL is like 2 Lega medals, which is just insane. And then the Mark 10 handguard, the Alexander Arms Mark 10 handguard for the M4 is 2 Lega medals, and like the SAI ones are like basically unlocked by default. It's so weird. Like it should be the other way around.
The Mark 4.
So the Mark 10 Alexander Arms handguard, it's the one that looks like a tube with a load of holes in it.
Yes.
It's like the min-maxers meta handguard.
Yeah.
For budget as well. That one is 2 Lega medals. Whereas the SAI, 14-inch, the one that fits the jailbreak, the super duper one, like that one's just unlocked to start with, or like it's money or something. It's like 100k or something like that to unlock it. It's really odd. It's like really, really odd. So some of the unlocks are a bit strange. But otherwise, it's been fine. I've been playing each day, trying to do stuff. Like some of the things are a bit annoying. I tried to re-roll. I was a bit stupid, really. I needed to pick 2. I was still on Last Wipes meta. Let's put it that way. So I was on Last Wipes better off. It doesn't really cost that much to re-roll. We've got infinite cash, so I just re-roll everything into Last Hero and eventually complete those. When they made the changes to Arena to increase the prices of the re-rolls, especially at higher levels, and then also made 4 game modes. you just lose money in Arena if you try to reroll everything into one game mode. Like over the long run, you'll just lose money. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're brutally unlucky. And I rerolled my weekly the other day 10 times. Like, spent all my money, spent like 2 days more unlocking like dailies, rerolled it twice more, like spent all my money again, and I could not get it to go to last hero, no matter how much I tried. I spent probably like 2 million rubles or something in Arena, like early wipe as well, which I was like, oh, that's painful. Trying to get this thing onto last hero, I just couldn't do it. It was on Blast Gang, and it's like, oh, this is like where I ended up settling. You have to win a round and stay alive 36 times. So that doesn't sound necessarily too hard, but I only played the respawn modes, right? I only played Last Hero and Checkpoint, the new one, which is the like capture points one, which I've gotten into actually. That's actually quite fun. So I was like, fine, we'll give Blast Gang a try. I tried it off stream. I was like, we'll just chill, we'll just play, search for match, and do stuff, whatever, while I'm writing, because I can be doing other things like when I'm dead. Man alive, it's hard compared to the base game, or the base Arena game. It's very different to the respawn modes, and like I think it's just like a combination of map knowledge. Whatever. I'm just playing like unranked, not even playing for ARP, whatever. People are just like, they know exactly where you are. It's instantaneous headshots as soon as you come around the corner. Like everyone knows every single angle, every sight line. I was just like, oh my god, this is difficult. So it was like actually winning a match. Like I was by far the worst player on my team, like most games, which is crazy, right? Because like usually I come either first or second in Last Hero, and I'm usually top 3 in Checkpoint. And so I was just like, I was distinctly the worst player on my team, like in most games. And even when we were winning, it's like you have to win a round and also be alive. That only happened in like half of them. Even when my team was winning, like, I'd get shot randomly by somebody. Even if I was like I'd like try and stay alive. Like it changes your behavior too. Some of these weeklies, it's really annoying. And which is why I don't really like them in that particular sense, because it's like, oh, I'm just going to hang around like in the middle of my team.
I'm not going to contribute.
Like, our team would, yeah, exactly. Our team would be like 4 players still alive at the end, and I'm like in the middle, and I just get like caught by a stray randomly by the last guy who's shooting at somebody else. I get caught through like a wooden box or something and die, and then it's just like, well, that round doesn't count because you're not still alive. And I was like, this is like drove me completely insane. I got to about 15 or something, 15 out of 36, and I was like, this is going to take an eternity. I just can't be bothered. So I did actually bail on it. I was just like, no. So I think now I'm just going to play Last Hero and Checkpoint and roll the stuff into those 2 game modes and just settle on kind of whatever it settles on for either of them, because I don't mind those two too much. But like, I think unless you're playing a lot, I think Blast Gang and Teamfight are hard, right? It's like it's set, because it's like it resets every single game. It's like chess, right? There's an opening, there's an opening, it's an opening, there's an opening, there's 3 lanes. It's like CS, every single round starts the same way. So you have to learn all the openings, the timing, the angles, the whatever. So unless you're playing it a lot, you're just gonna get wrecked, right? And I was just getting completely. I started to get a bit better towards the end, but even still, I was like, man, this is rough. This is really, really rough. So yeah, so like that was just my experience about it. It's just interesting playing these other game modes. So I think with 2 out of the 4 game modes, if you choose the 2 that you like, re-roll into those, do those. I think that's okay, and it still does give you a meaningful bump to XP and stuff. Obviously, you've got to go do them, but it's still worth going to do those dailies. And yeah, re-rolling to 2 out of 4, way easier than trying to get them all into like 1 out of 4. Right? It's like just half as likely. So you end up spending a disproportionate amount more money, because the chance of having to re-roll like 6 times to get a 1 out of 4 is just so much higher than 2 out of 4. Anyway, ramble over. So yeah, Arena's still interesting. It's still fun. I actually like it. I've been grinding the M4 again, and it's cool. But yeah, they kind of buffed it a little bit on the number of kills you get and stuff. So I don't think it's mad now, but it's definitely it's definitely still impactful.
That's good. It's gotten retuned, because last type it did seem pretty crazy.
Yeah. Okay, in the interest of time, next thing then, last one in the sort of the main events bit was the random update about how you can visit each other's hideouts. Pestely's on this like hilarious grind to get as many friends in the game as he can, which is pretty funny. So apparently after about like back in the day, 5,000 players, he said, like used to be the problem point for the number of friends. But now the reason why he's doing this is because on the update, if you're friends with somebody, you can visit their hideout and you can use their gym. So Pestily got his gym up, and he was just like, add me in the game. He's called True Believer 24, which I thought was quite funny. So he said, add me in the game, and then you can use my gym. So I did. I think I was one of the first people in and used it. I was like, well, it does actually work. So, but now he's got I'm not even sure, over like 11,000 friends or something on his friends list. He was just like, in the name of beta testing, I guess we're just going to keep going, see how many people can we get on this baby. But yeah, if one person builds the gym that you could just use theirs. Like you don't need to build it anymore, which I find it a bit of an odd choice, but I get it. I don't think the intention was for Pestily to add the entire community.
Yeah.
I don't think that was how it was planned.
Yeah. It's probably one of those things
maybe,
oh, it'd be cool for you to visit your friend's hideout. And then, it's like probably discovered internally. It's like, oh, yeah, everything works. Like you can, use the workbench or whatever and the shooting range, maybe. I don't know. Not the workbench, but the gym. Or maybe they intentionally made it that way. I don't know. I'm not sure either way.
Yeah, I reckon it's probably just like, oh, Jim's got the hideout up, and we go to visit him and whatever. But rather than like just adding anybody who's got the gym up, maybe you could like put in favorited friends or something would be able to like 10 people would be able to use it or something like that would be a bit better. Because I mean I don't care, it doesn't really matter, but it's like it's just a bit funny that like the whole community could just add Pestily and then everyone could just use the gym for free, without upgrading it. Feels like that's probably not intentional, but anyway, it's so minor it doesn't really matter. But it's fun to be able to visit other people's hideouts to look at their cosmetics and stuff. I think that's cool. Now that they've added posters and things, I found one poster. You have to look for them on the wall. Like, apparently they're very easy to miss because they look just like normal posters.
Oh, you can actually loot them in Raid?
Yeah, and they're 2x2, and you can put them in Doc's case.
I'm surprised.
And apparently on PVE, you can sell them on the Flea.
Huh. And
people are like, they're not actually that much. They're only 500k, which on PVE is nothing, right? Because PVE is, that's half of a Bitcoin on PVE. PVE's economy is completely cooked. So, like, 500,000 rubles is very, very little on PVE. So people are like, oh, yeah, because they're all over the place. You can buy them quite cheaply, actually. So I was like, oh, interesting. Because I was speculating whether you would be able to sell them on the Flea or not. And people are like, oh, it's in PvE already, so we can see that. I had this like hot take the other day on stream where, and some people, like quite a few people actually agreed with me. A lot of PvE players agreed with me, but a couple of people were just like, no, it's the worst take ever. Which basically I was just like, as a entitled PvP player, I think PvE should get the wipe in like 2 weeks. I don't think they should get it at the same time as everybody else. Not for any like punishment, just because it kind of ruins it a little bit when all the end game quests, all of the new stuff, everything, it's just like day one, bam, we know everything in the new wipe on day one because it just gets released to PvE and people have got level 60 accounts in there. So we just know everything. I just feel like it's a bit of a, I don't know.
I just think it's a bit of a
letdown,
That, like, can you not wipe on PvE?
Wipe yourself.
Okay.
So you can self-wipe, but it doesn't wipe with the normal wipe, which is good, obviously. But no, I don't know. I just think it's a bit of a shame. I don't really care.
Maybe just don't read chat, Giga. You ever think about that? Huh?
Oh yeah, I just don't read chat. Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. Yeah,
just
it's funny.
Chat.
I mean, at least it's funny. Like, at least we find out about the stuff. Like, we find out about stuff faster. But then it kind of ruins the surprise of people like discovering it naturally as we go through. Again, it doesn't matter too much, but if it was me, I'd probably make PvE wait a little bit just to like keep PvP. That's like, oh, here's the thing with the new wipe and what. Like, does it really matter to the PvP people if they're not going to get the wipe for 2 weeks? Like, don't really make
you don't get the new
right?
content, I guess, but like, you get it eventually. But like, I don't know. I mean, I can kind of like see that because then it's like if you want to get the new stuff then go play PvE, but like obviously you're not going to get all the new stuff. I don't know. I get what you're saying, but it is what it is, I guess.
Exactly. I'm not going to go writing on Reddit about it for sure. Okay.
That reminds me, it's a really funny video. I'm just going to interject here since we're kind of in a good spot. Because that's most of the news, right?
Pretty much.
So I watched a video from Leviticus. I had to think of his name for a second. Who I'm sure you've seen.
Watching his vids this morning.
Oh, were you? Did you watch the one I did about the Tarkov complainer, like Axes?
Yeah.
You did? Perfect.
I did. Yeah.
I don't know. Did I? Oh yeah, I did finish that one. Yeah, which I thought that video like genuinely made me laugh out loud as I was watching it because I was like, oh my god, I know someone like that. And then I was like, have you ever seen the meme where it's like a kind of like a bald guy, and he's like smiling one picture, and then the other picture he's like very serious.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
was me once. I was laughing, like, haha, I know friends like that, and then he started talking about me, and I was like, that's not funny. But seriously though, that video, what is it called? White, no, let's see. Um,
Yeah, I'm not even sure what it's called. It's
oh,
yeah,
here
it's
it
like
is. The
archetypes of
Tarkov
players or something.
player compass.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I just,
It's a good one.
I thought it was a very good video, very entertaining for Tarkov. Because, and this is kind of the interesting thing too, is like, I feel like the universal language for Tarkov is complaining. And I think that's because it's such a universal experience. Like,
Hmm.
all I gotta do is say scavs, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, yes, the scavs! Like they suck so. I hate them." You know what I mean? It's like it's so
Yeah.
easy. Like if you want to just farm engagement, that's probably like the easiest way. Tarkov is just say anything that's like remotely, caused you minor pain and suffering, and a million people can relate, which is
Hmm.
kind of it's kind of a fun thing in a sense because it's like and Tarkov has that like in its DNA, right? It's like even people who like never play Tarkov, it has like this sort of ethos about it where they know that like, oh, you're a Tarkov player. Man, that game's really crazy. Like the game's really hardcore. It has no HUD, I heard. I was like, yeah, kinda, yeah.
The man, you must hate yourself, eh? You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
why do you play that game? It's like, what do you get out of it? It was like, it's hard to explain.
Mental damage, you know.
But yeah, that video you definitely, if you haven't seen that video, like hard recommend for every Tarkov player. I thought it was very good.
Hmm. Yeah, it certainly is good. I did enjoy it. I wasn't sure exactly where I fitted into it. I kind of like bridged a couple of the different ones. It's like, there's like I don't know. It's got I kind of like what felt like maybe the meta kind of min max person, but I don't always use meta
Yeah,
guns, so I was like, maybe
yeah,
that. Or
yeah. I felt like a little
I don't know.
bit
It's just
meta
yeah. There's like so I kind of
slave,
felt a bit like a hybrid on some of them.
but a little bit of the more economy stuff too. Because let's see if I could probably pull it up again. Because it, yeah, there's a
It's good.
rule.
It's great.
There's four different squares, if you will. In top left, you got aggressive, and then top right you got experience, and then bottom right you got passive, and then bottom left you got casual. And I guess there's like yeah, and then there's just as you kind of like navigate this axes, you get different like circles or group clusters of people. Like it's on the far end of experience, like extreme. What is that? Yeah, Kappa grinders. Like
Yeah.
I guess it's not. I guess the most farthest end of experience is arena players, which yeah makes sense, right? If you're like,
Yeah.
I'm just so
It's people who don't even
I'm
play the base
esport
game anymore.
pro, baby. Like I'm gonna be on phase.
I think
Uh,
actually, like for me, I actually was more like along the because I'm on the experienced end of the spectrum, obviously, right?
mm-hmm.
But I think I'm like right down the middle. I think the root followers one was actually the one that kind of that I was just like, oh my goodness, am I in this video and I don't like it? Like, I'm not sure. It's just like the root followers who like they're gonna go do this thing and they're gonna go do it no matter what. Like, there's gunshots right next to them, but they're going to dorms. Like, dorms is a complete like World War III, but they're going to dorms. And I actually do play a bit like that, where I'm like, I am here for this task. I must complete this task. Let's
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
thing over there. Like, no, ignore that. But it's like, and also sort of partly into like the ruble grinder kind of camp as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So somewhere between like root follower and like the American, because I'm not like the dad gamer American sniper, not quite,
No,
but
no,
like
no.
it's sort of I'm in that like in that region, It's like
Yeah, it's
I'm
funny.
I'm in
When
there
he
somewhere.
said flea market wolves, I was like, oh shit, that's kind of like what Giga was talking about with
Oh
like
yeah,
Boltu say.
yeah, the Bolter boys. Hmm. Yeah, I have the energy of the flea market wolves people, but like not the time to sit there on the flea and actually do it.
Yeah.
So I do like the bits. I appreciate the art for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, it's funny. I'm like somewhere in that. I'm somewhere in that ruble grinder camp, and to like a blend of a couple of different bits over on that side. It's quite quite fun. I
There
love it
was,
though, dude. I love it.
yeah, yeah. Because there was another one too that reminded me of myself, and I think it was like in the aggressive or casual. I can't remember. Maybe it was an experience, but it was like this idea where it's like, oh yeah, that's what it was. I think maybe it was burgeoning chads or something, but
Mm.
it's like you're hyper aggressive. It's like you sprint to the gunfight, and then like once you get there, it's like you just become Golem with an AK.
Yeah.
It's like that feels like me at the early wipe right now. Me and my friend are like, what do we do? It's like, I don't know. It's like we're saying, it's like, okay, I'm gonna open the door, and then we both just stand there. It's like, okay, who's gonna go first? It's like an awkward 3 seconds until someone moves. It's so funny.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it. No, it was good. That
yeah,
was very, very good. Go and watch it if you haven't, people. It's amazing. You'll be called out at some point within the 15 minutes or
yeah.
whatever, however long it is.
He's one of
Um,
the few Tarkov creators that I, still subscribe to. Like usually
mm,
when the wipe comes around, I'm playing it. I'll start like adding subscriptions to people because I want to. I check my subscriptions a lot, so I want to get like a daily
mhm.
feed of my Tarkov. But yeah, Leviticus is every once in a while he'll come out with some banger videos. I like his stuff.
Yeah, it's more like stand-up comedy than anything else, right? So it's great. No matter like even if you're not playing, right? That's why you can enjoy that type of
Yeah,
video because
yeah,
you have enough experience to enjoy it. Um, no, it's good. It's good stuff. Okay, so yeah, the only other thing that I wanted to add of like news-related stuff before we do even more things was we've had the first couple of kappas in the world. Yes, we are 8 days into the wipe with no flea and hideout only
those Kappa
upgrades. So there's been a couple
grinders.
of kappas. The first kappa in the world is the Japanese streamer Tamathi,
Hmm.
who is the one who I think did he win that competition for a streamer item, and he has the knife. There's like the little short knife thing that's now in the game, the Tamathi knife. That's his streamer item, but he did world's first kappa, which is pretty cool. And then the second kappa was Kokao, who was he was actually one of the like arena pro guys when it was like kicking off. I'm not sure. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not like super in touch with that community over there, but he's European guy, so he's got Europe's first kappa and then second in the world. I don't know if there's been any more since then, but yeah, those guys have got the first two. I mean, Kokao's one was absolutely crazy because I was like looking at it, I was like, hang on a minute. And he basically said like EU first kappa, world second. It was a hard 8 days, but 188 hours later, it was an adrenaline rush, different experience with no flea, pushed me to my fullest, really brought the community together. Thank you for all the support, the amazing subathon. And I was like, 8 hard days, but 188 hours later, let me just get the camera. 188 divided by 23.5. I was like, what? How? Really? How? What? No, really? Wait, was it two people? Dude, did you really sleep for 30 minutes for a week?
Uh,
No.
he
Did you leave the game open? Like, maybe. I was like, huh?
does he have a gamer bucket? Like these are the important questions I need to know about.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was just like, this is that's something else. I don't understand. I don't even know. So I'm not actually sure. I haven't answered the question of how he managed to
Maybe
play 23.5 hours a day for the first 8 days.
maybe he's. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I know, remember when Trey did that thing? It was like two of them, and they
Does
asked
the wipe
BSG for
start
permission, and
sooner
there was
for them or something? Like, is it a time zone thing? Like, I'm just trying to think.
no,
Like, what
no.
could possibly be the thing?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine like Australia starts first on the wipe, whatever, because they're in the
Yeah.
future. That's how Pesley's been doing it all these years. Secret hack that everyone's going to be moving to
Nerfed
Melbourne.
Australia servers now.
Nerf Australia, yeah, the West Coast in tatters.
Someone says he has a roommate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe it must be because I was just like, well, that doesn't make sense otherwise. But
Yeah.
I remember like some people do ask permission to do like the dual grind, like two people play like on off 12 hours each, blah blah blah. Like even 12 hours a day for I did 12 hours, and that was it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of playing.
Yeah.
The last thing, the BSG have started producing ASMR videos. I don't know if you've seen any of those.
I did. I was thinking about making a tweet about it, but
Yeah, so they've added an AK of some kind. I didn't actually watch that one. And then there's the M4 where they basically just like field strip the weapon and like change over some of the parts and stuff. But all it's just silent with just very close in audio on all the parts with it. It's an ASMR gun builder from BSG. Yeah, it's nuts. Okay, all right. So I don't even know where to begin on the next section. So I'm just going to open up with my new favorite gun in the entire game.
Velociraptor.
No,
Dang it. But I will say that gun looks really cool.
I haven't used it yet. And it's not the MPX either. The Saiga 12K fully automatic shotgun.
Oh my god, yeah.
Holy crap, Church. This gun is stupid, actually. It's stupid. I didn't think it was. I'm actually like making a video about it at the moment. I didn't think that it was going to be very good because
Right.
we got the AA-12 last wipe.
Right.
And BSG were always like, oh, we're not going to add an automatic shotgun because it's going to ruin the game. And then they added the AA-12 and everyone was kind of like, it's a shotgun. It's kind of ass, right? You can fire the MP153 faster if you pull the, click the mouse enough. So I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I didn't mean to get this weapon. It was on Tagilla, and I managed to kill him, and I looted him, and took the gun out. And I was like, okay, well, let's just give this bad boy a try. Well, the fire rate on it is like nearly half the speed again. It's like nearly twice as half. It's like 1.5 times as fast, roughly, a bit less than that, but as the AA-12. So the AA-12's full auto fire rate is 330. The Saiga 12 full auto is 450. So it's getting closer towards like an AKM level of like full auto. If you try both, right, the AA-12 feels underwhelming. The Saiga 12 feels like an absolute monster in comparison. Like the 40% increase in fire rate is like crazy. And I took it into raid, and I was just blasting people with it, Church. It was insane. Like you can't just hold the trigger though, is the problem.
Wait, it comes with hold the trigger.
Yeah, I mean you can, but you won't hit anything. Well, you will, but it's just a bit wild, right? It's just a bit wild. You're better off on a couple with doing some bursts, I think.
Okay,
you need to give it a little minute to breathe.
Okay.
Otherwise, it does go wild. But yeah, Tagil's gun comes with a 20 rounder, which is pretty hilarious.
Is it actually faster than what you could do semi?
I'm not sure. Actually, I don't know. I've never measured the MP153's like clicking.
Oh, you're right. MP513 does have a weird faster because the reason why I ask and say that is because I know at one point they were like, "All right, you macro gamers, we gotta stop this," and they did all these things, and then they just like basically locked the max fire rate of single fire to like what 350 or 375 or something. And
something like that.
But like with the 153, that doesn't seem to be the case, and possibly too the Sega, because I feel like the Sega also can fire really fast in the shotgun category. But anyways, that would be interesting to know if it is faster.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a hard thing to measure. Yeah. But anyways.
It's also because the whole like semi-auto situation. I just don't like semi-auto really because you have to click lots of times and you're trying to use the mouse at the same time. Whatever. I like to just be able to press button, pull down, gain loot. Is kind of how I like to do things. And so on this one, it's just like you just press down the button and bam, 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 out they come. And I ran around factory with Piranha, and I was just like destroying people with this gun. It was wild. It's a lot of fun. I had Tower in the chat at the time, and he was like, "Oh boy," he said, "this gun is a monster." He was like, "I've actually fired this." He's like, he said it's the only weapon that he's ever fired that he couldn't stop it from hitting the ceiling when he was shooting it. Basically, like he just couldn't keep it down.
Wow.
And he was like, "And I fired the M14 on full auto, and that thing kicks like a mule." He was like, "This thing is something else. It really is. In real life, it's like insane." So. It's great. There is a weird thing about this gun though, which is we read this actually last week, but now I can kind of see the ramifications of it, which is that it's so you can get it Gear 4 on a barter, but there's also a task for it. I don't know what that is. The two other purchases are on Prapor and Jaeger based on which quests you completed for the achievement for the zombies event. So if you didn't do the zombie event quest line, get the achievement, you can't buy it for cash, which is weird because they changed it in the patch notes last week. Obviously, after the event finished. Yeah, because I think it was one of them was for the A12 or something, but they've added this to the quest, or I'm not sure exactly. I'd need to go and look at the quest and see the exact. Maybe I can do that in a minute. But basically, if you completed complete remission, which was the Jaeger path, which was the good path, which was screw therapist, we're going to fix the vaccine and distribute the good one ourselves, then you get access to it on Jaeger 4 for 212,000 rubles. If you did the screw everybody, I'm just going with the easy thing with therapist, and we're just going to kill everyone, you get it on Prepper 4 at 190,000 rubles, which is a bit annoying because the good ending is 20k more expensive than the bad ending. But anyway, I think that more the fact that they sort of retrospectively locked it behind an achievement that you now obviously can't get is a bit odd. It's a little weird, don't you think?
Maybe a little bit of a safeguard. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. So complete remission. I think that's all it does now. It says unlocks assortment at Jaeger loyalty level 4, but then underneath it just says Saiga 12k 12 gauge automatic shotgun. But yeah, I think they replaced it. But no, it's just a bit odd. Yeah. Don't know. But either way, you will be able to get it on Skier at some point. I don't know which quest it's locked behind, but it's Skier 4 and some task completion thing that you have to do. By that point, it probably won't be worth using anymore. Maybe, I don't know. It's just a shame it's not going to work for certain quests like Setup and a few of those others because it's not in MP series.
Yeah.
So you can't use it for Setup. Being able to use it for Setup would be funny.
It'd be annoying on the receiving end. I actually kind of feel like Setup is like, I don't know. I guess it's just a little bit of a thing where it's like I see a guy. I ran into a player, right, who was like making their way. Like I had just spawned dorms, but I was gonna, instead of going dorms, I was gonna like half towards bus instead. And they had a similar idea, I guess. And I could see them. We kind of like ran into it in the forest, and they had a Ushanka, and I barely survived, but he blacked my thorax or my head, and like, I had to fix all my parts, and it's just like, God, this guy's so annoying. I'm like, I hate you, So I had to like leave the raid, but I was like, it's kind of insane that he blacked my head. It's like, I mean, I guess skill issue. I could have, probably one shot him in the head with my fully automatic gun, but I don't know. They're just annoying. It's like I almost feel like it's like the conditions they're in isn't that bad. Like obviously at range it sucks, right? But like outside of that, it's like I don't know. It's not really. It's like the scav vest isn't really a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you're using a shotgun, so like that's more of the problem than anything else. And then like the Ushanka, it's like, I mean, you get as long as you can wear ears. Like back when you couldn't wear ears, like it's pretty annoying. But
yeah, that was bad.
I'm like kind of slightly advocating for nerf them because God, they're so freaking annoying, man. They're so like I'm gonna be the annoying one eventually. I recognize this, so maybe maybe in a week I'll be complaining. It's like, oh my God, bring back the headsets because now I can't hear anything as a setup for. Anyways, it's just general Tarkov hate. I hate thine enemy. Rule number 1 of Tarkov: show no mercy, hate thine enemy.
I think the thing about fighting against shotty people is that even if you win, often you're just like a broken shell of a man. When the fight's over, it's brutal. I actually had quite a few situations where people just like not dying to flechette and stuff. It's just like weird. I don't know. I'm not really sure exactly why, but people just taking like absorbing huge amounts of damage, clearly being in like severe distress. I can hear them around the corner like coughing out their third lung.
Right.
But then other times, you just can't kill them.
But then other times you shoot them and they die in like 2-3 hits. Yeah. But then sometimes it just takes the entire mag, and it's like in both cases they're wearing like level 4 armor, just like standard around the middle stuff. It's just super. I mean, I guess that's the nature of pellets being spread, but still, it's just like it's. I don't know.
Yeah, and arms being crazy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think like the class 4 armor is like it is pretty strong, and especially if it's going through arms, because like there's something the other day about if you shoot through an arm and then and then it hits the chest, even if it should pen the plate, it doesn't, and they don't get hit. I saw people were talking about that the other day, and I think they're still being investigated because I had a little look at it, and it's like that. So people are a bit more spongy than you would expect. So that probably does hit stuff like Flechette, I would think, because it relies on the armor going down a lot and then penning through. But then if you hit through an arm and then it goes through the plate, but then it doesn't deal any damage because of this bug, like a lot of the damage just gets like lost. So I think that definitely could be the case. It's weird, yeah. So, but obviously, if you hit them in the neck or whatever, then they just die.
Right.
So if there's a plate involved, then it kind of screws stuff up. So let's just revisit setup for a minute, right? Because I literally finished it yesterday.
Yeah, I was gonna say I watched your VOD earlier today from yesterday, so I know
there's
clued
in a little bit.
A burning thing that needs to be announced.
Yeah, well, I mean, the less burning thing is that you can wear a headset with the Ushanka, but they nerfed it last wipe so that you could only wear the GSSH.
Okay.
So that is annoying. I will say the GSSHs don't actually sound as bad as they used to. They're not that great on ambient, but you can still hear with them. It's not actually that much worse than Contact 2s or GSSH, whatever. Because I did another audio video recently, and it was they're not actually like terrible. It's better than wearing nothing. But yeah, so the deal with setup is, firstly, it's only 8 kills now rather than 15, which is very welcome for many people. And also, you can use any MP series shotgun. And what's a shotgun and also an MP series weapon? Well, the MP18, the break action rifle. It counts as shotguns under Tarkov's categorization system, but it's like a hybrid. It's like one of the few weapons that is a proper hybrid because it counts as a bolty for shootable in heaven, but also as a shotgun for setup. So what you can do, and this is what I did yesterday, because I actually saw a few people doing this, and I thought, you know what, let's just give it a try because it does seem eminently sensible, is that you can bring an MP153 or 155, whichever you prefer, and then you also bring an MP18 with a scope on it, so that then you can engage targets at any distance, and you have a tool to deal with it, but they both count for setup, which is really quite nice. So I was kind of half expecting to bring it, have it there, not really use it, get into a close combat fight, and just lose a scope on the break action gun every time. But much to my surprise, I mean, I did play in a much more of a ratty, campy, snipey way, because to try and make the most of it, at least give it a go. I got 3 of the 8 kills with the MP18, amazingly. And the first 3 kills, I wasn't taking it. So of the final 5, 2 were with the 153, and 3 of them were with the MP18. Because I think also people at this point in the wipe are not expecting to get sniped in the head, because hardly anybody has scope, especially with no Flea. Like, the scopes are really annoying to come by. The only 2 options that you have to buy, even up at level 3 traders, which I've got for the most part, but not, I don't have Mechanic and I don't have Peacekeeper 3 yet because I haven't spent enough money. I literally just need to spend more money. But even at Jaeger 3, right, like all the scopes that you get are just kind of ass, and they just aren't really very good. You can buy as many ring mounts as you like. I think I've just unlocked the ability to get the Schmidt and Bender 5 to 25, but that thing's super zoomed in and is 100 grand, so I don't really want to buy that. But the other options is the Monstrum Compact 2 times, which I didn't think was far enough, or the Pillad 4 times, which is I relieve vignetting nightmare. And so I was using Bravos in exchange for whiskies over on Peacekeeper, the Bravo 4 or whatever, the one that you can mount another red dot on top, like the assault scope. So I was using that one, which was okay. But yeah, most people don't have them, right? Elcans you haven't got unlocked yet until maybe Peacekeeper 3, I forget. So most people don't have scopes. So they're running around customs, running across the bridge and stuff, not expecting to suddenly get one shot by my MP18, which did happen. Yeah, it happened a couple of times, which I was quietly surprised about. So it was good. Apparently I wasn't doing the full min-max meta because I didn't have a double barrel in my pistol slot as well. But, it is what it is.
The ultimate setupper.
Exactly. And you get shootable in heaven done at the same time. Because if you're killing them with the MP18, you're probably hitting them in the head. Because if you don't, you got to...
Right. Yeah, that...
So the 2 shots to the thorax, it's not really achievable.
Or you weaken them with the FMJ round of the MP18, they swap to the shotgun,
Finish them off. Yeah,
and then
maybe.
for the final finish, then you pull out the double barrel. That's
yes.
Yeah, you got to use all 3 to get the the trifecta.
Yeah. But no, it was actually okay. It was actually okay. The thing that makes it tough right now is that you can't buy the Ushanka.
Yeah.
You can't buy it anywhere except for fence. You have to get lucky. They just disappear off fence almost instantly. So you have to find them all in raids to use them. And then if you die, I actually had this. So I did my first 3 kills in one of the streams over, I don't know, maybe, 2 hours or something. And died and then ran out. So I was like, well, unless I get some back in insurance or I find someone on scavs, like, we're done with setup for now. I can't do anymore because there's no way to get the Ushanka. I have to go and kill some more scavs to get it. And then sort of the same thing for the Scav Vest. It's a bit easier with the Scav Vest. Like scavs do spawn with them, obviously, as well. You can barter them for slickers. So you can go look for slickers. You can craft slickers in. I don't even think it's the lower level nutrition unit. I think it might be quite a high level nutrition unit, which is annoying.
2 or 3, definitely not
either
1.
2 or 3. Yeah, so it's actually a bit of a pain to do. So I didn't even have that craft, but I had some slickers just saved up anyway. So usually it's the Ushanka that's the bottleneck, but yeah, that did get me a little bit. I was like, this is my final Ushanka. You know, I don't have any others. If we die here, then that's it. So, and then I did been like CQB with 2 guys, and it was a right mess. And like the other guy also had a shotgun, and I was like hobbling, limping away. I killed the first guy with the 153, and actually did complete setup. And then I was like, it didn't really match after that, but I was like hobbling away with the second guy chasing after me, painkillering up, whatever. And I eventually managed to just like sneak around, Gollum with the shotgun, and I did actually. I popped out and boom, boom, boom. The guy came out of machine shop, right? Bam, bam, bam. And I hit him like 4 times across everywhere. And he just like walked into the machine shop. And I was like, dude, what is going on? This is crazy. And I could just hear him in there going like, and I was like, right, well, like, how am I going to kill this man? Like, he can't hide where he is anymore. Like, I'm kind of damaged too. I like peeked in. He like took my left arm out with 9mm from behind like one of the things, and I was like, oh god, this guy kills me now. It's so annoying. It's like I'm half tempted just to wait for him to bleed out because like surely he's going to have to use meds or something. You know, it's this is just like super. Maybe I'll just wait outside the building and just like wait for him to die because that like genuinely might happen.
Just die already.
Exactly. Because I was like, as soon as he meds. As soon as he tries to use it, I go, don't you dare use the AI2. As soon as you use AI2, I'm going to be in your face with the flechette. Like, I'm going to be in there because I'm right outside. But, you know, when you put with the gun pointers at the door, you just have to wait for you to just drip out onto the floor. This is super annoying. In the end, he tried to, like, move and get to another building. I think he was about to die or something, so he had to move. So then I opened the door while he was moving, and, like, while he was going through, I could hear him just, like, scraping along. I'm just like... But it still took, like, 3 more shots to kill the guy. It was outrageous. Did you see that? It
looked like he gave up, basically, towards the end.
Kinda.
Yeah. He was like fighting it, and then he was like, fine, put me out of my misery.
And I still didn't one-shot him. It was genuinely insane.
Yeah.
It was genuinely insane. So we did get setup done in the end. 5 kills with the 153 and 3 kills with the MP18, which was quite fun. So I think it's good. There's the other meta, which I didn't do this wipe, is the double 153s. That would have actually saved me in one situation.
That makes sense.
So you just take 2 of them. You just take 2. They're really cheap. You just like add the. I mean, to be honest, I hardly used the laser. Just like add a sprut and the laser and a sight if you want, or just take 2 sticks and just because you can only buy until Jaeger 3. I think you can only buy the 7-round mag, which is fine. But I did have one situation where the 1 extra shell in the 8-round, I would have killed the guy, but I just went and then I had to run away. And then I did the stupid thing because customers got new stuff. And he like desperately tried to escape from me and went out the door. And I also went out the door, not realizing that then we'd just like both be outside. Because I thought he went into like different bit of the building. I was like, oh no, he's also outside. But I am like reloading my shotgun. And then he reloaded before me because he had a real gun and he killed me. And I was like, no, that man like literally has like 5 HP or something. It's like so annoying. So yeah, double shotguns works. Double shotguns plus the the little pocket revolver with like magnum buck for the legs in the pistol slot, that works. Just take lots of guns. Lots of guns. Many guns. Yeah, or the MP18 thing if you want to try and with scope or whatever. But like it was fun. It was interesting. It was interesting. I was just like, man, I've like no patience for sniping. I'm so bad. Like hearing the shots, but wait, like I can't see him and trying to get the sight line and angle. Like it did teach me a lot about the new buildings, which was good. Yeah. I went in the new buildings a lot to try and figure out like where I could shoot from and stuff. So that was quite useful, just being there to know where you can see and where you can't see. Like you can't cover it all from one spot. You can kind of see wherever you want to see, but you have to choose. So you can cover Crack House and Fortress.
You can't get a 360
you can cover
view.
Skeleton. Yeah, or you can cover like RUAF, like the little break in the wall between Crack House and RUAF. You can cover that, but like that you have to be downstairs for. It's like you can't cover all of it at once. You can even look over the bridge as well from there, but again, you have to be in like different corners of the building or downstairs. So knowing like where you could, it doesn't feel quite as OP as like thought, looking in it, like if somebody's on one of those angles, like you're gonna die because you just can't see in.
Yeah, I
Like,
think that's the concern for me. Is just like, and I'm assuming this is the case for you as well. It's for me and my friend. Is like the windows like look pitch like they look like if there's a blizzard and visibility is reduced, I can see the windows like 200 meters away because they're like black almost. Like they stand out,
yeah,
and I don't know why. Like I don't remember the game always looking like that, but it does seem they seem darker than normal, but only on the outside, especially once you're on the
yeah.
inside. They are like not completely translucent. Like they got like some, grease smudged all over them. But like, yeah, just like for whatever reason, how they're rendered like doesn't look right to me.
Yeah, it's weird. And what's really odd is that at the beginning of the wipe, it actually looked really good. And I thought they'd
Oh,
fixed
really?
it.
Hmm.
Yeah, because that's happened a few times. Yeah, especially when it's foggy, blizzard, whatever. You can just see just all the windows as if they're. It's the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same bug as the glasses bug in the fog. It's like there's
Oh, you're
certain
right.
opacity textures that just
I
they
bet
just
you're right.
don't interact with the fog mechanic for some reason. But yeah, at the start of the wipe, it was looking great because I actually was looking around and I kind of noticed. I was like, oh, look at this. This is amazing. Like all the windows look normal and stuff. And then yeah, like the last couple of days, it seems to have gone back to the way it was before. So I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know. It's it's pretty odd, but hopefully they fix it at some point because it looks really bad. Especially now, we probably notice more on customs now because they've changed the windows to be translucent. Is the issue? Before the windows, they said it in the
Right.
update. A lot of stuff was like either I don't know, fixed in some particular way, but now they've like fixed the modeling, so now you've got like transparent windows all over the place. Well, now they've got the bug that you get on streets when it's foggy with all the glass being all screwed up. But
Exactly. That's what it looks
yeah.
like. Yeah. But you know what? You did. Yeah, I bet you're onto something. I bet it does have to do with like alpha and slash opacity, like the way it's rendered, or like the
Mm.
the two different alpha related stuff interact with each other. I bet that would be something because alpha stuff and rendering and things like that can get really weird and video game logic from at least with Bethesda games and modding. I've learned that stuff is like, oh my god, I do not understand. It's like you gotta have this box ticked and select this, and otherwise
Mm.
the Windows does not work. It's like what? Anyways, the other thing I noticed too was in one case I saw a window to a window, and because it was like overlapping, I could see a silhouette of everything inside through the two
Oh,
windows overlapping, but only if that's the case. So that was also really weird as well.
yeah, I've not
But
seen that. That is weird.
yeah, now since we're talking about customs, I do have to say I am a bit disappointed in performance of customs. It can
Mm.
dip near the 60s, but I have to do a PSA for everyone now that I confirmed and learned this. Um, do not. I mean, this probably won't apply to a lot of people, but um, make sure you're on borderless because for whatever reason, full screen mode and Tarkov in the graphic settings just tanks like 20 to 30 FPS, and I don't know why. This is like kind of like
Really?
yeah. Any map that's like CPU bound, like if you do on factory, you probably won't see a difference, but like every other map, you just lose frames, and it's if you're imagining you're playing on customs, it's like terrible because you're going from like 60 to like 40, like it's awful.
Huh. That is
Um,
weird. I have mine on borderless anyway
yeah,
because it's impossible to alt tab otherwise. But I
right.
didn't realize that was the case. There are some really strange bugs going on. I don't really understand. There was something that Clem was talking about like reducing the LOD quality on customs because there's some like faraway stuff. I didn't see that much change on mine, but either way, right? Like Streets is running better on than Customs right now. Like Customs is like
Hmm.
really really bad right now. Yeah.
Someone says they've had better FPS on full screen. Are you? Yeah, I guess I'd be curious. Huh? Yeah, I don't know because I
Sounds
think
like
on
Tarkov to me.
Windows.
two different people with two different, you have to just things down the other way, and it's different for each of them. That sounds just like Tarkov graphics usually.
Well, because I was talking to Clem about it actually, and he has Windows 11 and he has the same issue, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyways, just something like at least try it when you're in raid.
Mm.
Just switch between the two and see if your frame changes. For me, it was like I could literally see 20, 30 frames difference. Like go from like 100 to like 80. Like it was like, why is this the case? This makes zero sense. But you know what? Now I get to use borderless and feel okay about it because now it's easier to alt tab. So I guess that's nice.
Yeah, I had one particular raid where I decided, I know, I'll go with the SKS because that should be quite nice to do, customs with or whatever. And I went with the Valde, and because I've hardly been using any actual optics. It was one of the first raids I'd done with picture in picture, and I was like, this is so bad. I was like, this is so bad. And for some reason, that raid in particular was terrible. And there were millions of scouts, and I think that might have had something to do with it. Because the ones I was doing with setup actually were not that bad the other day. But this one that I did with this SKS, man, it was hard to play. It was actually hard to play. Like I was dipping into like 40, like top end of like 38, 45 FPS, like scoped in with it. And I was just like, I can't hit anything. This is so painful. Like I did actually manage to survive somehow, but I was just getting shot at by scouts from all over the place, unable to respond properly. It was brutal. So it seems super, super variable. Like sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's complete ass, and I'm not sure exactly why. I know there's like lots of people say about borderless versus full screen, about NVIDIA Reflex, whether that should be on or off, if there's a bug with that, whether there's a bug with the hideout. If you go to the hideout before, there's a video from Clem this morning, actually. If you go into the hideout, sometimes there's a bug where your FPS just drops for no reason. You have to restart the game and stuff. I don't know. Like, there's loads of stuff that could be wrong right now. I think BSG just needs to sit down and fix it. Until then, you just have to make do, try and make do. But yeah, it's a bit painful. It's a bit painful.
Yeah. But, I mean, at least for me, I didn't play, like, day one of the wipe. But like server wise, like I remember playing some wipes where like you just like the server would like close, you just like leave the raid, or like it was impossible to like get into a raid, or like even like you just played Capture Simulator. I guess I didn't play day one. I don't know if that was the case. Like, I mean, I probably did play day one, but I didn't play like minute one or like hour one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was all right actually. Server performance, it was fine. There were rollbacks. That was the thing that was the most annoying, was people just getting, and it was woods for some reason. Like anytime people were like, I just got into a raid and I did all this stuff and I did all these quests, and then I've come out and it's as if I never went in. And I was like, you weren't playing woods, were you? And they're like, oh yeah, I was playing woods. I was just like, damn it, what's wrong with woods right now? Like at the first like 3 days, if you played woods, it was like a 25% chance that the raid just wouldn't happen.
Wow.
So because that's why Pestily originally got annoyed, right? That's what put Pest in a bad mood on Twitter. Like he lost a LEDX and he lost a load of stuff because he found LEDX in the very first raid, and he came out and you're just sat there. Like it comes out and you go back to your inventory and your PMC is like as it went into the raid. Like the raid just never happened. None of the loot, but you didn't lose any ammo. Like nothing. It's as if the raid just like the moment that you pressed go, nothing existed after that point. That was the worst one. I had it as well, and I lost introduction. But I just had to kind of like go and do it again, rather than lose a LEDX or something. Which that's annoying on day one of the wipe, right? When you find.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I
lose it, so I understand why it put me in a bad mood.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the thing about this type of stuff. I mean, yeah, just as like some context, I was like, looking for wipe videos, and because I kind of wanted to see what people were saying, and I was like having all these thoughts, and I watched a few different videos, but I do remember getting recommended Pestily's video, but like I didn't want to watch it because he was like the worst. The thumbnail is like worst wipe in history, and I didn't feel like that. Like for me personally, the worst wipe in history was the first Streets patch. Like that was the content, and the content was like 40 FPS gameplay, and they just switched to Oculus audio. And there was like so many bugs, and it's just like it was awful.
Which wasn't finished, and then the players were invisible.
Yeah, it was for me
in the same patch. That was all the same patch. Can you believe it? Like if people like anybody who says that any other patch is the worst, like the game would like have to just not open for it to be worse than that one. That was like the worst one ever. So the bar was pretty low.
Yeah, but that being said, from hearing because then I did watch the video later, and I had like I didn't have any rollbacks. I basically haven't had. I think the only issue I've had is like the audio stuff, which is like for me. Anytime BSG lists audio in the patch notes, I'm just like, okay, yeah, there's gonna be audio bugs. Gotta and the only really bug I've experienced is like where it's like sounds like the sounds like doubling up. It's just like
Mm,
almost like how the bullets whizzed at you and they're actually not, but it's like a sound effect thing. Otherwise, it's been pretty standard Tarkov stuff. I haven't anything super egregious. But that being
yeah,
said, my experience personally does not reflect anything of what Pistol experienced. And if I had those experiences, yeah, I would be very, very
exactly.
upset that my Atletic, like you just had this intense early wave raid. It's like a big deal getting Athletics early on. Like you're secured for either your med station or your task, whichever one, probably med station. And now it's just like, nope, sorry, that raid never happened. Like, yeah, that would be very annoying.
He posted so many clips as well. He managed to he said it himself, right? He managed to run into like every single bug or
Yeah.
something. Like he had the running on in the spot, like couldn't move anywhere kind of bug.
Mm-hmm.
He had the rollback. He had any of the bugs that you could have had. He had it. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
actually crazy. He got so unlucky this way, but it's kind of good in some ways that it happened to him. In a broad sense, right? Because if it happens to like Joe Blogs, then nobody like, oh, whatever, bug report, you get one a day, whatever. Whereas like if it's Pestily and he's just like raid after raid, like the game's crashing, this is bugged, the BTR's not working, the flare extract's broken, he loses a lead X, whatever. It's just like anybody wonders why we're getting an update patch every 8 hours. The BSG team are the sweating guy on the keyboard, right? Because like Pestily's posting all the time about all these problems. So like it couldn't have happened to a better person to get it fixed. If that makes sense, because when Pestily says stuff, they listen properly. They actually do listen to Pestily when he says things.
Yeah, I guess. I was looking from a different perspective where I feel like it's maybe the worst person to have it to because my one someone came into my stream one time and they were like telling me all these bugs and I was like, I've White's been fine for me. And they didn't really specify it was Pastelli's video that
Mm,
they became aware of, but they were kind of like memeing on the game, right? And like I personally really like the changes to swipe, like so much
yeah.
so that like I'm selfishly I kind of want like can we go another 2 weeks, you guys? Like can we just hold off, like hold the horde, keep the stash full, but like just give me 2 more weeks because I love looting little scopes and attachments and building my little off meta guns and like
Yeah. There's a call for this more and more and more on Twitter over the last couple of days. People being like, maybe you should think about this actually. Like everybody seemed to really enjoy it. Like there's quite a few people who I've seen writing, I thought I would hate it, but I'm really
I've
enjoying
seen that
myself.
too, which really pleases me because
Mm,
a first of all, they're only doing it for 2 weeks, and I think they should stick to their word because I think it's better to disappoint than upset people. You know, like the expectation right now is it's gonna end in a week. So like,
hmm
if they were to 24 hours before, be like, guys, we've decided we're gonna, you know, add another 2 weeks or add another week, whatever. It's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. I'm really happy. Meanwhile, the like, let's say it's not even the majority, but like, whatever,
Yeah.
49% people are pissed, like, because they broke their quote unquote promise. Like, I could kind of that's why I'd say it's probably best that they don't go back on that. But
I'd like to see a survey.
selfishly, I also would love it if they did surprise me.
Yeah, I think it's weird because the longer it goes on, the harder it is for people who, well, sort of. If it's the same way as it was last web, the harder it is for people who are like behind in progress
Yeah.
in some fashion, because as people level up and they're getting better ammo, and once people get to level 4 traders, especially, and then people have got 5, 6, A1 and stuff, it's going to be hard for people to do that. I mean, it'll be a little bit like it was before Finding Raid got added, in some sense, because you couldn't get 5, 6, A1 because it was banned from the Flea and reselling wasn't a thing. Like it was there, but it was like 3,000 a bullet because it was only the stuff that you actually found in raid rather than reselling flip from the traders. So it's kind of a little bit like it used to be. So maybe it's not too bad. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like It's a difficult one. I'd like to actually kind of speak to people who don't like it, because I feel like I'm echo chambering a bit at the minute, and I've seen a lot of people who are enjoying it who didn't think they would, but most of these people are grinders or creators or whatever. So
That
I
are
kind of want to see
enjoying
some
it.
more opinions that are enjoying it. Yeah. So I kind of want to see some. They'll have. I've had like one or two comments on my YouTube channel, people being like, you know, I can't wait for the fleet to come back, because like until now I've just skipped this wipe until it's back,
Hmm.
because I don't want to play without it. So like I'm intrigued as to more of those things and how many more people we see like that. Like, yeah, because right now, I don't know. So like you can get locked behind certain things quite easily. I got quite lucky with a lot of mine. I mean, there are barters for most things, but certain keys you just can't get any other way. You just have to find them in a drop from the scab, which is annoying. There's no like roundabout method to go and get it. Like I quite like the early game stuff. It's like, oh, you have to get 7 piles of meds for Dorms 206 or whatever. It's like that's a lot early wipe. You can't make them or anything. But it means that there's a way to actually feel like you're progressing towards a task. Every med bag I loot, I like, specifically can design my path around looting med bags. Every single one that I get, I feel like I'm making incremental progression, and I can put it in my secure container as well, because it doesn't need to be find and raid for a barter. And slowly but surely we get to the key that we need. And I find that quite satisfying. I quite like that. But yeah, the ones where you just have to hit a million jackets and sometimes you just never find it is pretty annoying.
Yeah.
So I kind of get that, and then yeah, as it gets further on, then it's going to be harder for people to like catch up again compared to where
Right.
it used to be. And then
Because the
I don't,
gear difference
but I
from the
do, yeah,
traders. I
yeah, I
mean,
guess so. But then I do like the effect of it as well, because it's like it's funny thinking back. It's like, oh well, you need to be able to sell PvP gear on the flea, but if there's no flea, then everyone's in the same situation. If you kill a player, like, well, now you want to use his gear. It's
mhm.
like it makes the game play out so much better. Honestly, it's so good.
I think yeah, and I think just as like a way to summarize it generally is I'm just happy that they did this like as a test, and it's like a very limited thing, right? You know, um,
Mm.
it's no guarantee that they're going to do this again, etc. But like now they have data point, and and they could even like I'm hopeful they're going to use the survey thing, like
Mm.
especially after the 2 weeks period. Because I'd be very curious to see what people that survey from that pool of people, not like Reddit, not like Twitter, etc. Because all that's kind of like skewed. Whereas like if you get it straight from the data, or straight from the source rather. But yeah, because I definitely think that you this they if they want to do something like this more in the future, and we're gonna see we're only a week in, maybe as the general
Yeah.
population starts catching up, right now it feels pretty good to me, but maybe in like a day or two, I'm gonna be like, okay, I've been hitting jackets for the past, you know, 10 raids. Like, come on, we got to do something here, and that would be nice. That's probably on my wish list is that they would kind of like I mean, I think I've said it before, so I won't elaborate too much, but having like keys related to their map spawn on that map in the jackets. Like if you're gonna loot a jacket on customs, if it's gonna have a key in it, it's gonna have a key to the map on customs, Something like that
I
I
think
would
it
like.
does do that for the most part now. I actually
Does
do. I
it?
think that happened last wipe. Yeah, you should have a look, because I think it does that, and I think that's kind of a like it's either 1 or 2 wipes old. So I think it's come in between like now and the last time that you played properly. So I actually do think it does do that. But yeah, the fact that it's
Okay.
randomized, I still wish there were more routes to it. Either a barter that's fixed, or a guaranteed spawn based on a thing, or make it part of another side quest, or some like completely optional thing that you can go and do. I don't know, just some other way other than just like key farm until my eyes bleed, because it's just painful. I had like there's a couple of them that are still a bit like that, and then but I got quite lucky. I think 203 was the one I got stuck on for a little bit, which is shaking up Teller, and you can't do Punisher until you've done that one. And 203 is it's just no key, like it's just you have to find it raid. That's it. That's the only way. And I just randomly bumped into it on a scav run. I didn't even notice until I extracted, actually, because I wasn't paying attention. And then I was like, hang on, this is the key I need, right? I was like, oh crap, that's awesome, actually. So yeah, a couple more like not like necessarily, it doesn't need to be guaranteed ways, but it's like ways that you can make progress
Something to
towards it, like a
mitigate
barter or something.
the
Yeah, something
RNG,
that's not
yeah.
just random RNG purely. And like, yeah, you could pick it up like that, and then you'll be like, oh, sick, I've like done this in a cool way. But yeah, something else that's like more interesting than just farming jackets
Yeah.
for
No,
a
I
lot of
think
these
that's a
things. That'd be
good
good.
way because then you could farm jackets and farm med cases in your case to get the pile of meds to do that barter.
Mm.
So you're kind of like slowly chipping away, but you're still going for the big gamba on hitting the jackets, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think
Yeah.
for some of that stuff it'd be good. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't, because it has been, you know, I've played, I meant to say this towards the beginning, that it's like, because I haven't played like officially, we'll say, you know, I've like dabbled for a couple hours and then I was like, this probably isn't for me. Um,
Yeah.
because it's been so long, I get to reap all the benefits of the previous swipes.
That's
You
true.
know, it's like this feature was added, and maybe it was a little broken, or maybe it was fine, but like because it's new to me, it's like, oh, this is really nice. Like I didn't know you could top up on cash, and it auto like it. I did.
Neither did I until like 2 days ago. So I was saying like, oh, it's so annoying that cash doesn't auto stack, and someone was like, yeah, dude, just try right click top up. And I was like, oh my God, that's so good. I
I
was like, when
know.
did they add this? People are like, dude, that's been around for a while. I was like, really? Like, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, that's new to me.
So,
I've been dragging this
yeah.
entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else is like the hideout? The favorites thing. Like that's new to me. I don't think I've like ever really interacted with
Oh,
that.
for the like the wish list and stuff.
Yeah, like that's really nice. So yeah, there's a lot of nice stuff like that. But but I wanted to say, getting back on track, I'm just glad that they did this. You know, I hope we get some good data, and I'm hopeful that maybe next time they'll do something different, like civilian Flea. You know, let's get rid of maybe all the
Mm.
guns and ammo. Maybe you could keep armor headsets. I'm kind of different on that part, but I think that'd be interesting. Trading bar. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'd just be curious to see. You know, let's just do it. Let's get crazy, BSG.
Yeah, I think that would be nice because that would still make, yeah, the weapons important, the scopes important, like the suppressors important, without being like too disruptive. You know, you can still like buy barter item inputs. You can buy, you know, certain crafts for the fleet for the hideout and that kind of thing. That'd be quite nice. But yeah, you can't, because I'm quite enjoying. Yeah, it's just like not everybody having a suppressor. Like you pick up like
Yeah.
random guns where people have pieced things together. You know, there's not that many scopes because yeah, I haven't unlocked them all yet. But even on the high level traders, I think we forget how few things there are. Like how much stuff we rely on the fleet for, like voodoos and razors and all of this kind of thing. So, and I did have to do it a bit carefully to roll it back, like reel it back a little bit. But yeah, I'm kind of in for it being more hardcore, especially at the top end, especially for the like the top end stuff. I've always been an advocate of this, though. You know, like the best suppressors, like mostly found in raid, or maybe a barter from the trader that has to be like maybe a found in raid barter or something. You know, these kind of things, just making stuff more scarce. All of that stuff,
Yeah.
all of that good stuff.
But
Yeah.
one thing that has surprised me, because I don't know if I really can fully understand, is the reason behind it is why people are like, I've seen a common sentiment where it's like, yeah, I'm fine with the flea market ban, but what I'm not okay with is the find and raid hideout requirement, which is
Mm.
confusing to me because my first thought is, well, the flea market's banned anyways. Like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, what do you? And then it's like, okay, well, maybe you're flustered because then you know you have to hoard all this stuff and wait to sell it. But because people aren't gonna, you know, they can buy it, but it's not gonna be found a raid, then it's kind of useless to them. So then they can't use it. So like, it's like a money. Like you're flustered that you're not going to make as much money by selling barter items. In other words, like
Yeah, maybe.
they say this statement like I don't like this, but like I want to know why. I don't understand the why, because for me it was like annoying that I couldn't put it in my butt and secure it. So like I
Yeah.
had to like think, okay, what's more optimal, you know? Instead of putting this hose in my butt, I should just keep the ammo or some other valuable item like the salad. But salad. So I don't
Yeah.
know. That one I couldn't really figure out because then I'm like, is it a container thing that you're upset about? Because like I could see that you put in your butt, you die, and you're like, oh my god, I need this for the hideout, and it doesn't work now. That's so annoying. I could see that.
That was the main one that I was thinking, because that's what makes it, you know, extra hardcore. It's like you can only really keep barter and ruble value items in the secure because, or craft inputs, actually, that's the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, anything that's directly a hideout upgrade, you have to actually survive and like not die to put it through. I do think it's an interesting one. I do think it's partly to do with space because and I do think I do actually feel for people. And this is sort of coming on to the conversation, like reading back to we were talking before about different editions, and I do sort of feel people on standard account because I think this wipe standard account is probably as hard as it's ever been. I think the gulf is as big as ever because this wipe is the wipe of the stash space. Definitely. Like, no matter how much stash space you have, it's going to be filled. Like, even if you have Unheard Edition with the 2 extra lines of stash space from the events that we had to do, plus bought all the extra stash lines on the website, your stash is still full. Right? Like, I've seen people posting up, like Valium posting up, like, I've got 3 junk boxes completely full. And Gingy was like, that's nothing. I've got 8. It's like just crazy. The scav junk box goes wild. I've got 4 this wipe.
God.
And like the stuff stacked in. Like, I chose to I mean, I'm actually sort of almost regretting this now, actually, but I chose the 2 ammo boxes from Chemical Part 4 over the injector case, which I would never normally do. But I was like, my stash is just full of stuff. I just need to cram more in there. So like I let the looting and hoarding overtake me, and I picked the non-combat option, which I think is actually maybe a mistake. But either way, yeah, people are just like the stash space is what is crazy, and the amount of things you need to hold because you can't turn them in partially like you can with quests. I think if they're going to keep this kind of methodology, they do need to change it because, like, standard account people, I've seen people talk on Twitter about it being like, I actually am having to sell things that I know I need.
Yeah, which doesn't feel good.
For things that are even more important. Like, I know I need it in like tomorrow, but I have to sell it now because there's a thing that I need like today before I can unlock the thing for tomorrow. So I've got to sell stuff so that I can even just do that. So like this wipe is the hardest I think for standard that it's ever been. So I do feel for people on that because it's just tough. Some people were saying to me, I'm surprised you don't have a system for your junk boxes as well. And I was just like, well, I've never really needed a system. What do you mean a system for my junk? I just throw everything in there and then I just press buttons and I look at what I need to upgrade stuff. But I did actually try after buying my 4th scav junk box. I was like, maybe I'll try what the people are telling me about. And somebody had a system where they had 1 slot items in one, 2 slot items in another, and then 3+ in a 3rd junk box. And I actually tried that this morning and like reorganized it all. And I was like, see, I do quite like this. Like, it's much easier to see, like, rather than looking for items across all 4 junk boxes, if I'm looking for, how many like white ornaments do I need for the Christmas tree? Well, I only need to look in 2 of them and they'll all be in the same place. And you can auto sort, and it auto sorts perfectly as well in the 1 and the 2 square junk boxes because the items are easy to sort because they're not, odd shapes. So I actually really quite like it. The rest of my stash is filled with like just pinned MPPV rigs, pinned CSAs. Like I have this like armored rig. I have one of these ones, the Stitch Profi plate carriers, which I just took all the plates out and then pinned it in the corner because that's now another carrier. Like everything is stash space these days. It's gone completely insane.
But I kind of like it. Like fundamental, I guess. I like that the most. I mean, I'd say that because then the implications is like better for. Anyways, I like that the spaces were valuable then, because like at the very top end, it was common to see, the top like streamers, the highest players, right? Peak players, hyper rat, people that like grind 1 billion rubles, do these ridiculous things, right? They would just have like their stash was just money. Like it was just money cases, maybe like a few, and then everything else was dedicated to flea market selling. And you just let the ruble or let the items stack up, right? And I don't know, to me it's just like I don't know. I like I don't like the Tetrising when you have to like sell stuff, like that feels bad, but I like that stash space now has value and like rubles are devalued. Like it feels like you could have like 3 million rubles right now and that like basically does nothing for you, which is like yeah, I can buy infinite kits, but like that's not what I need right now. I need space. So maybe I don't know, maybe they could. I will say I think they need to look at the stash upgrades because they're like it's ridiculous how much it costs. Like, I mean, I guess that is what 3 million rubles does for you is you can upgrade your standard account stash to the next tier. I guess that is one thing, but it's kind of crazy. So like the scaling of it. I did the math once. I might have the document somewhere, and it's just like I think it's like 30 million. Like once you like, and past a certain point, it's more economic to buy item cases from therapists than it is to do the hideout upgrade. Like you get
Yeah,
more
which should
space.
never be the case.
Exactly, should never be the case. So like they really they really ought to look at that again because I don't think that was well thought out at the time.
Yeah. I think and I think people have just managed, but I think if this is going to be kind of the way the wipe goes, which I think they
Exactly.
should, then I think they do need to rethink about it, because then it's like you can still play on standard, you still feel like you can reasonably get to the other stashes if you want to. Like they just need to give it a bit of a buff, because
Yeah.
I don't think it's suddenly like people who aren't going to go and pay for an upgraded edition aren't like, there's a certain portion of those people will go and do that, but those people will do that probably even if they buff it anyway. And there's some people who just will not play because it's just impossible to play now because it's just too hard. Like it's been a long time since I've seen the standard stash. I need to go back and have a look because it's just not a lot, right? It's
It's
just
not a
really not a
lot.
lot at all.
And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean even like the max upgrade for the stash, you need like max level prapper plus like a
Mm.
bunch of like rare purple items, and then you need like just a crap ton of euros, like 11 million worth or some ridiculous number. Like it's a lot. So it just
And those items all now need to be found in raid to
yes,
upgrade the
yeah.
stash.
You know what's really sad too is like one of the I think the first one is like you need a hand drill and a couple like 8 or so just small WD-40 cans, which like the hand drill is so easy to come by, but like I've never seen the hand drill on the flea market ever, not a single time, be ever so slightly more expensive than what it sells to the vendor for it. And I gotta step away 1 second.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, it's certainly interesting. Yeah, Church said to just step away for a second to go and deal with something, but no, it's weird. Yeah, people just saying about how got 11 million and it does nothing for me. Yeah, it's I don't know. Tarkov's more interesting now because we've got different resources. We've got lots of different resources. We've got XP, we've got rubles,
Mm-hmm.
we've got stash space, we've got finding raid items being, it's like it's I don't know. It's better. And this wipe's playing out nicely because of these changes, I think. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. We'll see how it goes.
I want to read, just as a nice way to tie this up, this tweet from
Mm.
Airwing, which I think perfectly encapsulates why a lot of people are having a good time with this wipe. He says, I think at the core of why people are enjoying the wipe comes to player agency. No Flea and the found and raid hideout requirement forces players to make important choices every raid. Things like this. Do you get out with your loot for the hideout, or do you go for that quest item? Do you take the guy's gun or gear, or do I take the 2 hoses he had on him? Do I run customs because I need a task? Do I do interchange because I need drills? Players making decisions make raids matter more and give way more value to our game time instead of fate being driven purely by rubles and if we survive or not. Decisions in raid push us down a cliff path of progression that is our choice, not the meta. He says he has nearly a full hideout, but under-leveled compared to other streamers. Some folks already have max traders, but barely have 2 modules started. These are differences that are making this wipe special IMO. And I think he goes on to say some other stuff, and I won't read it all, because I think that's the bulk of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's cool. We just got to kind of keep going. It's difficult to understand the ramifications of these things, right? It's just like stuff appears, like, and so many things have like ended up leaning on the hideout and on the flea market that until you just try it, you don't really understand what problems you're going to run into. Like, you can't buy Ushankas. Like, is that a problem? Is that part of the quest now? Don't know.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a good question. You know, fundamentally, is
like,
that a problem, or is that a part of the mission now? Is you got to hoard Yushankos? I don't know.
yeah, and like they're not that hard to find, really. You
Right.
just have to kill scouts until you find them. So, like, does that make it more interesting? Like, you get set up really early now, so like maybe that's okay. I
Do
don't
you
know. Like,
go into a raid with everything but a Ushanka, kill a scav, so then you can then hunt the PMCs? Is that a
that's
thing?
next level. That's next level. Yeah, like setup player, you're getting kills, but you're actually just there to like get a Ushanka to wear it.
Guys, I'm setting up for the quest.
It is called setup after all. I quite like those. So I've had missions like that before, and they've felt really quite interesting. So this ended up not working out, unfortunately. But this is why Tarkov is so much fun, honestly. These things are the reasons why Tarkov is fun. So I went in to go and plant the SV98 and the multi-tool onto Shoreline. Lo and behold, I forgot to take the multi-tool with me because I was so focused on the SV98 and people telling me about how the SV98, you don't need to hold it in your hands anymore. It doesn't need to be a working gun. It can literally just be a tube in your backpack, and that works for the plant. I did not realize that. I thought you could strip everything down to like making it usable and then go in. But no, you can literally have the SV98 lower, just in your bag.
It's nice
like Peacekeeper's like, hey, like, get this tactical guy like set up with all the stuff he needs to do his mission. The dude turns up. There's a freaking pipe in the box. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Anyway, that aside, so I forgot the multi-tool obviously because I was fiddling around with this. So I was like, oh god damn it! So I went to go and do it again. Oh no, sorry. Take a step back. So in that raid, I was just like, man, okay, well, I'm going to have to go do this again. But I was like, hang on a minute. I was just like, how are we going to find a multi-tool? I was like, they don't really spawn, right? You have to buy them from mechanic. I was like, hold up, they spawn on the Christmas tree village. So I like went to the Shoreline Christmas tree village, and there was an outside chance that there might have been one. There wasn't, but there could have been, and then we could have gone back to do the thing. Like I've had it before. I can't remember. There was something else. There was another one equivalent where it's like we went through the raid. Oh yeah, that was it. I went to go and do Grumpy's room on Interchange last wipe with the arena key, and found a gazelle in there. And
for the
I was just like, I may as well just go and stash it. So I took the plates out and then stashed the gazelle and left.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm on the raid. I'm in the map with it already, so I may as well just go and stash it. So like those kind of ones where it's like thinking on the fly. That's why I quite like, it's always that one, oh, you run into an MP153 in a scat vest. Well, I may as well just go and find a Ushanka now, I guess. Or like, you kill the goons, then you have to go and find a pilgrim bag. Like those raids where they change halfway through are like some of the most interesting ones. So
it becomes a lot less chess and formulaic to more dynamic. Which, speaking of it, we had a raid kind of like that where we had... What were we trying to do? I think we were trying to do Bunkhouse, actually. We're going to do Bunkhouse quest because we had just done Deliver from the Past together. And there was something else we wanted to do, but I can't remember. So that was our two different, we had like that quest and then some other quest. And we ended up looting, I don't think we looted anything until we crossed over because we spawned on Big Red. So we looted the first building by our UAF. We call it Duffel Heaven because there's like at least 4 duffel bags in there, at least. But you can sometimes get up to like 6 probably. But anyways, and then we go into the next one, which is called, I think called Boiler, or maybe I can't remember. Doesn't matter. We looted some buildings, or no, that was Crack House. Yeah, then we went to Crack House. That's right. And we had hit the filing cabinets and we found the note, and we had a quest to do to take the secret extract. And now I remember the other quest we were possibly going to do was we were going to take the flare extract because there's a quest for that. So, but because like our objectives were like, Bunkhouse is like kind of in the middle of it all. It's a little spicy, and then you got all these new buildings and sightlines. And same for the train track, there's like sightlines. Also, it's like I'm a little scared about using it and getting shot by sniper scabs. So,
yeah.
But we were like, you know what? We're kind of looted. Let's take the extract. And because we were still like on our side of the map, we could either have gone to ZB 102 or whatever it's called, or we take Smuggler's Boat. Like, oh, let's just turn around and go Smuggler Boats, which was like a very unique experience because I don't think I've ever played a raid where I spawn on Big Red, go barely even halfway across the map and then turn around, take smugglers. It was a very unique experience and very dynamic. And I like, upon reflection, the way the map's laid out now, because I was like, that's kind of odd they took those extracts out. But now that they're like halfway points between, you got like 3 sectors, right? You got Big Red is one sector, and then you got the whole like factory construction area, stronghold, like all of that construction, all of that is like one sector, and then you got like the factory side, I guess. I don't even know what you call it. And it's like in between those 3 sectors, you got the boat extract and then the ZB extract, which like kind of like bridges them together. So it's like this neat thing where, if you're like halfway on the map and you find it, you don't even have to keep going. You can just turn around and go back.
Yeah,
It's very cool. I like that. Whether it's intentional or
it is very
not, I
cool.
liked it a lot.
I wanted to make a public service announcement about evidence, which is the bunkhouse key one
Uh oh.
with the building. You know, you go up into the shack and you open the thing. You go inside. You grab the doodad off the table. You don't need the key anymore. I don't know what they did, but you can just lean in through the window and grab the bad rep evidence package
No
off the
way.
table. Yeah, because I think that's one of the annoying. Is that an annoying key? I think.
It
I
is.
think
It
the. I
is.
think is it 1-1? What's it
Last
called? Oh, it's just called bunkhouse key, isn't it?
Yeah, the last time I played, I was stuck on that quest for so long, and I was just
Yeah.
camping it, hoping someone would open it. Like,
You can get it from like Vita juice, milk, and a toilet paper. You
oh,
can
you
like barter
can?
for it with Therapist
Okay,
One. So there is now barter for it, but yeah, if you
that's
don't
good.
have a Vita juice, for example, then it can be kind of annoying.
Yeah,
The one I'm stuck on at the moment is Ollie Logistics Key
yeah.
because, and I'm not doing any more until I get to that point because the issue is you can barter for it, but it's 4 hunting matches, 2 Serval lighters, and then a dry fuel. But you need 3 dry
Mm,
fuel to upgrade heating, and you
right.
can't upgrade rest station until you've upgraded heating. And I've got 2 dry fuels, and I need 1 more. There's like a couple of items that are like the ultimate. They're like the new gas analyzer Salewa,
Yeah.
I feel. Early wipe, it was toothpaste, measuring tape,
All.
and an awl. And then now we're getting like halfway through. It's now like toolkits, drills, and then for me, dry fuel for some reason. Like I just can't. I've only found 2, and I can't find another one, and I'm just stuck until then. Like I can't get workbench level 2 because I need drills. Like you just need so many drills, and they're loose loot. Just find them around. I've literally only found 1, and I accidentally used it upgrading the water purifier thing by accident because I clicked the button. And I was like, oh, what's we got? Oh crap, I've upgraded it. Whoops! And so now I need to find another 2 for the workbench, which is annoying because workbench 2
Oh
locks
yeah,
basically everything behind
yeah.
it, which is super annoying. So yeah, I need to get the drills, but I just like people. Oh yeah, interchange, go interchange. Yeah, go here, go here. It needs technical crates. But I've literally only found 1 this whole wipe. So it's a lot. I've played 56 PMC raids and 23 scav raids, and I've only seen 1 drill. And you can't make them; you just have to find them.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm stuck. I'm kind of stuck at that point, which is like it's fine. It doesn't matter so much. I did at one stage like I was like, oh, I'm going to go hunting for hideout stuff, and I was like, but why? Like the hideout is important, yeah, but like it doesn't matter that much. Like, what am I actually going to do with the hideout? Well, what am I really going to do without the flea?
Yeah, that's the thing,
You
right?
can't sell anything. So like,
Yeah.
why? Why bother with this, right? I can't sell wires. I can't sell piles of meds. I can't sell any of this stuff. So I'm really not that fussed. So I was like, let's just chill, progress for the actual main PMC and just quest. So that's what I've been questing first and foremost, rather than anything else. And the hideouts just kind of come secondary. But
Yeah,
this is
same.
probably it's probably too late for most people with this one, but maybe not. Mechanics farming part 1, fix the tool sets on factory. Try to grab the items and do the barter for the tool sets. Don't use finding raid tool sets because you need like 11 finding raid tool sets.
Oof.
If you do the barter, you can like barter for non-finding raid tool sets with mechanic using other things, screwdrivers and tape measures and all of that kind of gumph, and then use those to fix the panels if you can. I know so many people who used their finding raid tool sets the first couple they found, and then now they're regretting it because you need so many. It's crazy. So yeah, there's no other way to get tool sets either outside of that, which is a pain. I'm like, it's one of those ones where now I've started looking up on, Tarkov.dev is pretty good for looking at like where you get stuff from, and I'm just like looking up like, what do you get in the drills and quests? Apparently, drills you get from Gunsmith 7 and Gunsmith 16. So if you get through all of
Oh.
those, you can get some drills doing that. I looked at dry fuel. There's like you don't get anything. There's no way you can get dry fuel. You just have to find it in the game. And then if you do Huntsman Path Secured Perimeter, you get a toolkit. And if you do Sparta Part 3, you get a toolkit. So there are a couple of quests here and there that allow you to get finding raid toolkits from quest rewards, which is quite interesting. I quite like that as a thing. It's like, oh, maybe I'll path towards this so I can unlock that kind of
Yeah,
data.
I just wish that all that type of stuff was easy, like more accessible, because there is like a certain advantage, for Tarkov veterans where it's like I know and like like almost intuitively, like some of these items, like I need to hold on to this because that's going to be either a quest requirement later or a hideout requirement later. Whereas I can imagine some, people who are newer to the game don't have all this stuff like as like backhand second nature knowledge.
Yep.
So it kind of sucks that. And yeah, I mean, you got resources out there, but it'd be nice if it was like in an ideal world, if it was like integrated perfectly and smooth in the game. But we don't live in the ideal world. We live in Tarkov, so
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, it's interesting the hideout and all that. Yeah, just the changes. I like thinking. I like coming up with new strategies for doing stuff, and it's making me creative, and it's cool. I like it. I like these
yeah, I
changes.
really do like that. Yep, and it's
It's fun.
fun.
It's
I
different.
I killed a guy who had a actually yeah, one thing I do want to mention, it's like a PSA. Well, two things actually. One, I've noticed, and I need you to comment on this because I don't
Mm.
know if this is like old information or what, but for whatever reason, helmets and armor cost like nothing to insure. Is that new?
I don't really remember, to be honest. I wasn't really paying attention. How much did it cost it? So in insuring, I do think they decreased it because they made it crazy at one point. Yeah, so like repairing, I think it depends. I think it's if you're like class 5 and 6 is expensive, but class 4 and below, like they've changed the gradient is like much steeper now than it used to be like maybe 4 wipes ago. They made a big change at one point. So like repairing a 6B13 flora armor is only 5,000, whereas
Well, no,
sorry,
I'm
insuring.
talking. Oh,
Whereas
okay.
insuring, let's see, yeah, it's only 5K to insure that. Whereas to insure as a Brallo, it's like 30K. That's still quite cheap relative to what it used to be. But
Well, like
I
I
guess as a
mean,
whole loadout, that'd be expensive, I suppose.
I'm talking like 800 rubles to insure like a tier 3 helmet or like a tier 3 armor. Like when I'm in the stream,
Oh, oh, I see. Yeah, I think you're right about helmets. Yeah, I think that may be not intended. I think it's something to do with the way that the materials got changed in the armor rework, and
yeah,
because
that's
they're
what I was
like,
thinking.
yeah, and it's something to do with the fact that they're like, what even are these ones? Hybrid composite materials or something, and then they're really cheap. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's just insurance is just pretty cheap now in general. I wouldn't
Okay,
worry too much about it.
okay. And then the second thing was the quest. We got to plant the cameras in the new area for referee.
Mm.
I mean, first off, it gives you a lot of XP, like 32K. So like, definitely do that. I think you got to do the first quest that Skier gives you with the posters. But anyways, once you get there, so because you gotta plant the 4 cameras, right? And then after you do
Yeah.
that, then you gotta kill 15 things inside the
Hmm.
warehouse. Um, and I found it. I found the strat, and this is what almost broke me originally when we were playing. Like week 1 of the wipe was the scabs just didn't. It was just like horde simulator. I guess feel
Yeah.
like I was playing Left 4 Dead. It's like you kill one scab and there's like the horde starts coming in and busting through. Like, oh my god, that reminds me. They interact so buggy with doors. I saw the clip of you, like the scab, like
Mm.
the doors open, the scab breaches it closed. Like he kicks it closed. But it's weird because
Yeah.
they'll like walk through and like close the door. Like it's like they just have like some insane behavior. But yeah, they're like no joke because they suppress and fire you, and then they will also just like you kill one of their friends, and they're like a hive mind, like someone's died, and they just
Yeah.
charge that area. So what you do is you go inside there, right? You need to like get in there early, ideally, but there's where the semi truck is. There's a like toolbox on top of like some I don't know, something like wood pallet or whatever. You climb on top, you mantle up of that, then you mantle on top of like the blue ice, whatever, containers, big things, and
Oh
then
yeah.
you mantle on top of the railing to the like metal concrete rafters, and then you mantle on top of
Hmm.
that, and then you go sit in the corner and you just wait because like everything the scav AI just like kind of naturally path through there, and if they don't, just like fire a shot, take off your suppressor, fire a shot. You got one, and they just come in and they do not stop coming. I got like 25 scab kills, Giga. It was like
Hmm.
insane, and there was just like, you ever seen the clips on Factory where there's just like a pile of bodies at the door?
Yeah.
It was basically that, and like I couldn't even loot them all because the player scab came later, so I just had to leave. Like I looted maybe like 4, and because it takes a while to search all of them. But I was like, oh man, imagine if I like pressed F on every single one. I got like 70K, or no, sorry, not 70K, 7,000 EXP of that rate. Like it was
Yeah, which is insane. Just scav kills and sitting in the corner is a lot, right?
It's insane. Yeah. I mean, you do sit there for a while, and you do, might want to bring some food and water because of you are exposed to the frostbite should it come towards
Oh
you.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. There's another couple of quests that I did want to point out actually that are really important to do. And first one, and I can't remember exactly when you get them, so you'll have to look them up. But there's the one from Prapor, which is Christmas dinner, which is annoying to complete, but that's where you have to get 5 sausages, 5 peas, 5 mayos of vodka, whiskey, 3 jars of pickles, which you can mostly find around the Christmas like market bit on each map. But that's important because you get 20k XP, which is a lot, but you also get 3 found in raid, 60 round mags for the 545 AKs. So you could just complete ice cream cones instantly after you complete that quest, which is just mental. And then there's one from Skier, which is another one that's a bit, I think it might be after that one, but you've got Holiday Beyond the Means, which is eliminate PMC operatives while dressed as Santa. So you can buy the Santa beard and the hat from Ragman, and then you just have to kill 10 PMCs. So you go to factory. I ran it. I actually ended up getting most of my kills with the Keda, bizarrely. I was like using Keda B and killed loads of people with that. If you complete that, you get 10k XP. Okay, whatever. If you get 3 secure flash drives and 2 finely made GPUs.
Oh wow, that's huge because I haven't found a single flash drive.
Yeah, so I just completed what's on the flash drive straight away. Did this one and handed them straight back to him. So those quests are huge to complete. I don't know if they're going to go away because when Christmas event ends, I'm not sure. So I was like, man, I want to complete these like soon because I found I found 3, but one of them I died with in the most ridiculous way, trying to min-max my loot and missing the extract timer, which was very embarrassing. Yeah. And then another one, I just died to something.
Don't feel bad because I had a similar raid where I, also min-max and did not give myself enough time to waddle my way to the extract. So yeah, it happens to the best of us.
I mean, the worst part about that one was that I was stood in the extract.
Yeah, but I could see I could see how it could happen. You're trying to min max, you're hyper focusing on what's this value, and you lose track of time.
It happens. I know. And also when you get there with I was like, oh, I'm not going to make it to the other extract. I will go to hole in the wall. That's what maybe do the min max in the first place. And then I was like, oh, we've got here with 40 seconds to spare.
That's enough time.
This is fine. And then you realize why you spend hours in the stash looking at it, right? And organizing things because it takes longer than 30 seconds to organize the loot in your bag.
You gotta limit test for that. Gotta limit test so that way your limits. You had to learn a valuable lesson,
I did. I learned a valuable lesson, definitely. I certainly did. So yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It's going well. It's all good.
Yeah, I like this wipe. It's definitely there was a little dark cloud there for the beginning. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I was debating, silent to myself. I was like, I just want to just not play because we were getting our butts kicked and it just felt really bad to be so so rusty, but also just are we even having fun at this point? But now that we kind of readjusted, got our bearings, got into the groove of things, and we actually had an experience where we were running towards Big Red, and we took the land bridge at the bottom near the boat.
Yeah.
And because I watched your video about the audio stuff, which by the way, I didn't even mention, I love that change. I mean, that's pretty much what we asked for, I think, last time we talked about something like this. I'm sure, other people
slow walk, definitely.
This. Yeah, I think it's
that's
great.
What you're talking about.
Yeah, the fact that, slow walking is quieter now. It has less of a range,
yeah,
I think we
before it was 60-meter running, 50-meter walking, 40-meter slow walking, and we're just really go on.
Yeah, which made it to where sorry, Mike Bob, where it was just it just made more sense to sprint everywhere because they're gonna hear me anyways. It's I can't sneak up on anyone. Now I feel like I genuinely can sneak up on people, and I have genuinely been jump scared by so many scavs just I don't know, just silently just approaching me normally. I don't know, it's so funny. But anyways, I've made a decision let's let's just sprint across this this bridge with like metal flooring, containers, and wood. What's the big deal? And as I was doing it, I was like, maybe we shouldn't have done this. Is this a mistake? And then my friend, he's like, nah, I'm sure we're going to be fine. Like, no one's over here. And then as we go up the hill, someone's waiting for us and just mows us down with like 55A1 and just like level 17. My alternate account is his name. And I'm just like, God, we just instant lesson learned there. Is like, I knew it was a mistake. I was like, no, we've committed. And now I've learned a mistake. So lesson learned.
It does happen. It definitely happens. What else? There's one other thing. Oh yeah, one other thing I was going to mention about customs. Like I keep walking around, I keep almost getting like jump scared by the explosive barrels that they put everywhere. There's like the explosive containers. You may not have noticed them, but they're all over the place, and people aren't shooting them yet. And I'm like half tempted to put a guide together of where they all are, and half tempted to just like not say anything, because as soon as it starts to become like people are going to wait, it's going to be like the ultimate ratting thing, right? So for example, over by the car exfil in dorms, on the second floor, there's one literally inside the door next to the room with the safe. So if you wander in and someone shoots the canister, boom, that's it, you're dead.
I did not know that. That's so cool.
They're everywhere, Church. They're in the new building, they're in the old buildings, they've put them all over. And I keep turning around into them, I'm like, God, because like I'm so terrified of them because I died on labs so many times during the zombie event. Chat says, "Do not say a word." I know, like I genuinely am worried about the implications of making something such like this. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether I even should. I don't know. It's just a line in the ideas spreadsheet. So don't worry too much about it.
Chaotic neutral on that one.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't want to be blown up by it either.
Right.
Particularly, and like sometimes I do. But when people are doing stuff that I've talked about, I am just like, oh, damn it, It
is a good deed to spread awareness. So now people know, because I didn't know. And that makes so much sense because over by Big Red in the, what are those called? Like utility buildings, sheds.
By the trader things?
Yeah. There's the hole in the wall that you used to be able to pass through, but there's pipes there. And I was like, why do they put pipes, like there's cylinders there? Now I know.
It's blocked by exploding cylinders.
God, I want to be so evil and troll my friend, but like, I also don't want to do that because then he's gonna waste his time and gear. So like that feels really bad, but it'd be so funny. Like, yeah, go through there. I'll meet you on the other side. Blah, blah, blah. I died. What? That's crazy. How'd you die? The barrels exploded. What?
Hey, yeah, they've added this new feature, so if you shoot it, you can get rid of it. Like it'll disappear. Yeah.
There's a secret extract. It's really fast. Trust me. Yeah. You want to go out with a bang?
The new secret extract.
Oh my god.
Oh god, yeah, they keep jump scaring me though because they're all over the place. So I don't know. I'm a bit scared, but like I kind of want to know where they are myself. But I don't know. There's quite a few I've noticed. There's about 5 or 6 I've noticed so far. I'm sure it's going to be the new secret rat tech, though. It definitely is. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. Whether I reveal it or not, it's coming. Like, if StackRat hasn't already ratted 3 people on those things, then I'm disappointed.
That's so good, though. Yeah, I'm definitely going to shoot at it because I need to know, like, what it sounds like. I want to see it because I think I've seen it before on Twitter, but that's on Twitter video compression. I want to like get the full immersive experience. So I'm excited.
Yeah, they're loud when they go off.
Does it sound like landmines from a distance? Do you know?
And they sound more like grenades.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
I think. I'm not sure if they've got their own. They must have their own sound effect. They just sound like a grenade blowing up. But
and yeah, one other thing.
Watch out.
I just thought of it. I do appreciate all the little changes throughout all the maps. Like I just did the interchange raid, and I noticed they had like Christmas posters on the wall, and there's like Christmas music in the wall. Like I appreciate a lot of the little details. Like even
and the Tarkola lorries with all the lights on them and stuff.
Yeah,
like that's so cool.
That's fun. And
snow drifts. Like some things are inaccessible, and some things you can like now vault over where you never could. Like, even on like customs around like the bus station, you can like look over the wall
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
where you used to not be able to, because that's like it's really cool. Actually, all the map changes they've done is really cool, and it's funny because it doesn't change that much necessarily. But yeah, all the Christmas trees like singing. I saw a hilarious clip from Miss Dunk actually when she posted. She was like on customs in the kind of old sawmill area. And she's like, oh, I think it must have been like one of the first raids. She's like, oh, look, the Christmas tree, it's singing. And then she just gets sniped in the head through the window. So it's she's like, oh, they ruined Christmas. It's like so funny. It's so Tarkov. Just like the one magical moment. It's just
yeah.
like, you're still playing Tarkov, sniped in the head. Like they pop a headshot, like boink, the headshot like noise that jump scares you slightly. It's like it's perfect. The timing's absolutely perfect. It's so good.
That's great. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up that tab so I can remember to look for that one. I
Yeah, it
do
was
want to see
funny.
that. But yeah, and even the like gas station, like the some of the like it's like they updated the graphics of the model, the detail, like even like dorms. I noticed like new
Yeah.
textures or like it's just it's nice. It's I like that they're it all kind of like adds up for me. So it feels even though it's like the exact same 90% the same gameplay. It's nice little details. And another cool thing that was like, I mean, this is just at this point I'm just yapping, but it was fun. It was cool to me. We were inside the new building with the quest. We got to plant the cameras, right? And we were
Mhm.
on the side that looks more towards Stronghold, where you got the
Yeah.
windows and all those like boiler things. And I heard Sniper Scaffy was like ripping off some shots. And I just so happened to notice there's a hole in the ceiling, and you can get an angle and shoot Sniper Scav from there. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Oh,
That was really
that is
cool.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
all the little details are so fun. It's
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah,
So
and they
the
did
new
a
angles and new sight lines and everything else.
they did a really good job too with the like those cube like windows. I don't even know what you call them.
Yeah.
And they have like they they're like perfectly aligned to like you can stick your barrel. Like even on factory, I noticed the factory rework because I didn't play it that much that
Mm.
way. But there's like
Mm.
these little holes on the side of the wall. You can just like shove your gun barrel through. Soviet glass, yes, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Like I'm sure like I'm sure they're experienced enough where it's probably like nothing. But imagine this, building this stuff to scale properly isn't exactly a novel or like a novice thing to do. Like you gotta. I'm sure they have a lot of experience with it, but it's just I appreciate these things, because it sucks when
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I can see what they were going for, but like they messed up type of thing. Like, oh, my gun's hitting the thing. It's like this. So it's nice when it does come together. Because I feel immersed. I'm like being tactical. My barrel's sticking out the side of the building. If anybody walks by.
No, it's cool. I think they've definitely got better at this stuff. Like, especially with the Christmas reworks, I think a lot of that stuff must just be like automated on the maps. So
Hmm.
they've got a lot better at. You couldn't do all that by hand, right? Like they've got edge detection on their models, whatever, to like string lights up and put things around, and then you have a quick look at it and go, yeah, that looks okay, and maybe tweak something manually if you need to. But they've got so much better at this, like rolling out these things. It's good. Yeah, the glass is interesting. I had like sometimes the shade is a bit weird on the new glass, so but hopefully they'll like. I had these like ringing kind of thing on it. If you get too close, it's like all like weird rings like appearing in it, and I was like, well, this is just really freaky.
Hmm.
So I think maybe it depends on the lighting. So it's not like 100% perfect, but it's good. It is it's good. I'm happy with it. It's feeling nice. Yeah, I managed to get. So think about those buildings again on customs. Like the cheekiest shot I've gotten so far was, again, this was set up with the MP18. It's a guy like walking from the hole in the wall to RUAF. So like if you go from Krakow, so you go through the hole, and then you go towards RUAF extract.
Yeah.
He was on that side, walking towards RUAF, and if you stand
Oh
in
yeah.
that new building next to Elbow, like near the
Hmm.
construction building, if you stand on one of the raised walkways, I think it might be the one that's closest to Big Red. I think it's that one. If you stand near the edge of the steps and then you lean left, you can just see down there. And there were some shots because the scavs around there, and I leaned around just the perfect time to see Mr. Man walking with his UN helmet on. And I was like, I don't know if that's a scav or a PMC, but shot and killed this guy, right? And it's just like, you wouldn't think that you could be seeing, because there's that weird generator there, I think, just before you get to the extracts. It's like, if you're stood at the generator, you wouldn't expect that someone's just going to like lean peek you out of the new customs building. Like, it's such an obnoxious little awkward spot. It's like so rare to see somebody walking through there. I mean, people are walking there for the extract all the time, in fairness. But I was like, man, he got really unlucky, and I got quite lucky to see him out of there. Just funny. It's just funny. Yeah, all the new windows and stuff is crazy. Like, yeah, you can poke your barrel out of this one or that one, use the new glass, like hide yourself, whatever. It's wild.
Yeah.
It is wild.
Yep, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been telling myself and my duo that the safest place on Tarkov or in customs now is the middle of the road. We go down the main road because you use the wall on the side to protect you from all those windows. Because I don't know. I don't know if like people are ever actually sitting in there. Like it hasn't happened yet, where like someone's just actively sitting there and shooting at anybody that comes that way. But like every time I'm in there, I'm like, God, this vantage point is so good, and I'm just like, I never want to be shot from here. So like, I'll take my chance, roll my dice in the middle of the road.
Just go straight down the road, but like one like to the wall edge.
Yeah, it's like
kind of deal.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like actually safe, but it's like this weird psychological thing where like the valley, it's like the valley of tranquility because there's like just complete death on either side. It's like dorms and the forests and all that is just like death, right? And because it's so open, I can see there's no threats. Meanwhile, if I go like through dorms pathing, it's like I gotta worry about people sitting in bushes, worry about someone poking out their head out the window of doors, it's like running into a guy. Meanwhile, it's just like, walking down, I'm walking on sunshine. Yeah.
It's like the old meta of, Woods is still like this, but run along the beach right next to Sawmill. It's the same. It's the same kind of vibe. But people used to always go like round the edge of the wall, on like original Woods when it was tiny,
right. Yeah,
before any of the
yeah.
expansions. People used to just trail the wall, hug the wall as for like a comfort blanket, and then people would just meet each other at the wall, and there'd be just tons of fights at the wall because that's how people would get through. People didn't know the maps that well back then as well, and so I was always just stroll across the beach, and it feels like it absolutely sucks because if someone's on the other side, you're dead, but like no one ever is. Because no one goes down the beach because it's so stupid to go down the beach. So no one ever camps it, right?
Exactly.
It's like the double bluff. It's like, it's so stupid. No one would ever walk down there. It's just like, It's almost like, the IQ bell curve thing. It's just like, walk down beach because it's so simple. Well, no one would ever walk down the beach because this is not the perfect sniper angle for the. And then there's just like, 400 IQ, like walk down the beach.
I think it's like 0 IQ, I walk down beach. But it works,
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we've exhausted story time.
I think we've got to call it for now.
Yeah.
We could always keep going.
Absolutely.
We could always keep going, especially in the early wipe. There's loads to talk about, but we'll have to save some. Well, there's not that much to save really, but we'll talk about some different things next week. We'll figure out what's going on. Drops will be over. Flea market will be just open. Yeah, I think technically maybe, depending on whether Nikita does a poll and then 80% of the community says keep it closed and then they do. Who knows? So things can change a lot in a week. So next week we'll be reporting on what happened next. You will find out here. Definitely not first because it gets posted on a Monday.
And on that note, we'll see you Monday. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.